And welcome to Anonymous Bites Back uh,
80.
episode 80. We're still waiting for our guest to talk a little bit about the Million Parent March in DC. Uh, they'll be here shortly. But now is a good time to talk a bit more about Million Mass March. Um, I am seeing some more event pages coming up with some of the non-affiliated pages and non-only pages. But if you guys don't see, I'm going to keep on harping and harping and harping on this again until the 5th. If you guys don't see a march in your area, please don't hesitate to message our page, or even and we could probably find one for you. Or if you don't have one in your area, we could um, tell you how to start an event page on Facebook for the Million Mask March. I can give you some pointers right off the bat. If you're going to be doing an event not affiliated with a public page on your own, just make sure you set the event settings to public. The default setting is to private. That means only your friends will see the event. And the whole point is to get maximum exposure and to get as many people as you can to your Million Mask March. Um, to our viewers in the Netherlands, we are still trying to figure out what happened to Million Mask March Amsterdam. It was canceled 2 hours ago. It might be leading more towards Facebook canceled the event. Uh, yeah,
Or the government.
or the government. uh,
Yeah.
yeah, we're still waiting for one more message from one more guy, and uh, if I'm pretty sure we'll know in the next hour or so whether it was Facebook or not. Because there was a lot of people that were going to go to the Million Mask March Amsterdam. I believe there was. God, I don't even know how many times it was shared. I think the event page has actually been up for. The event has been up since last year, and then was canceled all of a sudden. Even I got a message from Facebook; it was canceled. Um, I don't know. I don't really run into this very often, but with events being, but I have pages unpublished, but events, I don't know. Well, no, that's not true. I have seen events unpublished, yeah, by Facebook. So, yeah, this could be
Well,
Facebook.
isn't there a web page that has all the events scheduled anyways?
Millionmassmarch.com. Or
All right.
But, but why they don't take the other events out, like London and Germany, Belgium, France, United States? Oh, yeah, why they do only Amsterdam? I think the government is involved, but that's what I think.
they're like,
They
hey,
can.
They're taking out the biggest
But
one. Wasn't it the biggest one?
actually, the biggest one is in UK. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
They have. They
they
usually
call
have.
that Guy Fawkes.
Yeah, they usually have. God, I don't even know how many thousands of people show up to Million Mass March in UK. I think it's in whatever's. Can't even say the right name. Something Square, and yeah, they'll go march.
Trafalgar Square.
Yeah,
Trafalgar, yeah.
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 They'll have like thousands of people there, tons of police. Um, even what's his name? You know that junkie that got his shit together. That he's been showing up for the last couple of years.
Brand.
Yeah, Brand. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What's his first name?
I don't know. I heard there was a rumor he was still out using again. Well, it happens,
Hey, when you got that kind of money, I mean, you got time.
He's
but
trying to keep from getting a flu.
but in lieu of today's event with Million Mask March Amsterdam, just keep your eyes out if your events get unpublished or are canceled by Facebook. Um,
They are on it right now too.
yeah, I think the best thing to do would be to slightly change some of the wording of the events, and then have another account do it from a different. Um, God, because the Facebook AI is getting smarter. I'll have to come up with a better strategy for something like that.
Or perhaps a web page that promotes the event, and then
Well, we do
make an
have.
event page
Well, there
for
is.
that page.
Yeah, there is millionmassmarch.com, but let's see how well it is.
Well, no, I mean for like Belgium event,
Yeah.
Netherlands event, and make an event page for it on Facebook.
See, that's a problem. Is that what we're dealing with a lot of these pages. And you know as I do within the Anon community, because like half of us don't have real accounts, or if they don't, they're not real. Nothing is real on the thing on the accounts. So a lot there are
Yeah,
pages.
somebody could have lost
There
their
are
account.
thousands of Anon pages out there with nobody on them. You know.
Yeah. The problem
You're
is
getting lost
sometimes
now.
the the information, everybody getting confused about things, and there are too much pages, and groups, and that's my opinion.
Well, you mean like copy pasta pages where one person's copying and the other person's doing is basically the same information? I do agree with you on that one.
Not everyone gets the same information, and that's yeah. Some people don't know what must to do, like in the United States, for
Yeah.
create a mask march. And some people are asking me from some states, can I do this here in my state? But then I'm asking from, do you have enough people there, or yeah,
Ed says he's blocked for 2 weeks from sharing.
yeah, me, yeah,
You too. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just to give you guys a heads up, if you guys are planning to do it in a small area, if you guys have some bigger pages and want to merge them into another page, you might have to change the settings or the category of the page to get the likes up so that more people will see the event. But if you're gonna have a Million Mass March page for your area with like 66 people, I mean, like, it's better. I guess it's better than nothing, but it's better to do an event on a page with a lot more people affiliated with it.
Make sure it's a category for it.
Yeah.
yeah. By the way, here in Belgium too,
Making
it
a
was not
making a
5 years ago.
hurricane.
Belgium was bad here. The Million Mask March. We had maybe 60 or 50 people. 5 years ago. This, and now we have more. But yeah, it's better than nothing. 60 or 70 or 100 or 200.
Wait,
No matter.
is everybody banned from sharing our page? Is this like a conspiracy today?
No, it's not a conspiracy.
It's not a conspiracy theory. It's a real
like
conspiracy.
like
That's
what
what
the,
we think.
like what the fuck information did I say in the last couple of weeks that would have caused this shit? Did I really say something like devastating? Oh god, I'm trying to think. We did talk about some weird shit last show.
I
It was
think we
every
did
it
a
was,
lot of swearing and
I,
stuff.
a lot of it happened after the 9/11 stuff. I was like, why the fuck are we being censored? Like since that show, like
Yeah, true. Yeah.
it was displaying false numbers. They were saying, Facebook was saying is that there was a differentiation between HD and SD on the back end, but I'm still not seeing that option, and I'm using three different. No, I actually used like
I was
four
I
different
was
kinds of
kicked out
browsers.
in last live shows. For some reason, I cannot enter the show. The last two shows,
You couldn't see it live, or you couldn't enter the back end
I
channel.
cannot. Yeah, I can see it live, but I cannot enter it. Like
Uh,
now,
Let me go see what's going on YouTube. I noticed one of the shows it only had like one viewer from YouTube.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Also, to our viewers, yes, we are also on Twitch TV. Check us out at Anonymous Fights Back on Twitch.com, and God,
Yep, I'm watching.
yeah, I was gonna say our YouTube is Anonymous Worldwide, which is affiliated with anonymousworldwide.com. Yeah, I was just really shocked that the MMM Amsterdam went down this afternoon. Tell you.
Yeah, me too. When I saw it, they canceled. I don't think it's Facebook because if it's real Facebook, they can take every event. They can take every event.
Well, do you think
Can block them
it couldn't
everywhere.
have been an angry admin?
I think it's the government because they must approve. Yeah, they must be agree for do the MMM, and that's what I'm thinking. Maybe I
Well,
don't know.
It could be
I
possible.
wonder if they're because there still is I believe the event is still up for the DC, and there's several pages off Facebook. So I mean, there's no way that they could cancel DC.
Well, Zuckerberg is complying with U.S. standards or whatever it is that U.S. is doing
Why?
to
Why? Because we're a
get
terrorist.
advertisement
We're
for
supposedly
Russia.
a terrorist organization.
Oh,
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm scary.
we are on the 15 rank. No, 16
Well, yeah, and
on the rank.
Is that right?
there were still a lot of people were asking, at least me in the back channels, on some of the pages, whether I should get permission to do a march. Me personally, I would do it anyway. That's just me.
Yeah,
I should.
I'm
You
not. I
should.
don't like this.
Yeah, you shouldn't have
I
to
don't
ask.
like this
Yeah,
permission
I was gonna
too.
say you shouldn't ask the government to protest the government. Just saying. You really shouldn't. So I would just do it anyway. What the fuck? We have a
That's how it works here in Europe. You always must to ask, "Hey, government, can we protest against you?" Okay, it's like,
what the
yeah,
fuck?
yeah, you can do it.
Is there somebody in here with a fucking death mask on here? What the fuck?
Oh yeah, yeah.
um,
No idea, man. Is this our guest?
but God, what was I saying? Also, there are some in DC. They do have an ordinance that says you can't wear a mask during a protest. I think the same thing happens in Vancouver. Last year, there were thousands of people wearing their masks. So could you
Yeah,
get?
if you're with enough people,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
that's not a
Yeah,
problem.
I would say to CYA, wear the mask anyway. You know.
We cannot do it in Belgium too. You must do when we walk, we can wear it. When we stand all together, though, you must do it off.
Oh yeah, and just to keep. I mean, everybody will be wearing a Guy Fawkes mask. But you don't necessarily don't have to. You could wear any mask you pretty much want to.
Just don't wear a bandana. People think you're a provocateur or black bloc or red bloc.
Antifa.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
they might show up as well. Like
of course they will.
I wouldn't doubt it that that Antifa will show up at DC for the MMM.
DC will have snipers.
Yeah, last year when we were at MMM or when I was at MMM Chicago, um, which I will say to our viewers who are in Chicago or in the Midwest, a lot of people in the Midwest do go to MMM Chicago because it is one of the bigger cities in the area. We get people from Wisconsin and Minnesota and Indiana, northern Indiana, that will come into. So what you'll do right around 10 o'clock, 10 or 12, I think it was 12, meet up at Union Station downtown and then march all the way down to the Bean, which will be on right off of Milwaukee Avenue. Um, but last year we were infiltrated by several groups. I mean, they helped. They initially helped, but some of their agendas were like when they had the megaphone on were like completely unrelated to what the fuck we were talking about, you know.
There's no beef between Antifa and the Anons.
Kekistanis.
Kekistanis.
Oh, that's right.
Well,
Yeah.
well, according to Alex Jones, Antifa is what is it? What did he say? He said that they are CIA sponsored.
Oh, George Soros, huh?
Yeah, but is this real? I don't know.
Well, in Antifa's defense, they did go to George Soros's, I think his office over in New York, and protested and said that they wanted their money as a fucking joke. Eh. Uh, where's our guest?
He must be eating still. So does anybody want to join us on Discord?
We can always ask. But I think we were talking before the show. There are some rumors that there was a funny commercial, government sponsored, about Morgan Freeman doing a lot of anti-Russia. Anti-Russia.
Sorry.
Yeah, anti-Russia. Yeah, he was calling Putin a Russian spy, which really makes no sense. I think once you've made it to presidential level, you're really not a spy at all. You're more of a public figure. Yeah. I mean, it's riddled with CIA propaganda. To be honest with you, that Morgan Freeman shit. I heard about it. I heard about it the last couple of weeks. It made the people are making a big shit about it now, but I heard about this like last week. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
He's coming September 23rd, correct?
Oh, Morgan. Oh, God is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see what happens on Saturday, but I don't know. A lot of people are trying to like tie what was tied all into that Nibiru shit. Like I told the viewers before, like I don't understand where half. Here's the deal: is that when you have a wacky subject, right, and then it reaches the mainstream media, and what they'll do is they'll watch 2 or 3 YouTube videos of the wackadoos, who are talking about Nibiru, which really doesn't, which I know, and anybody who's who's somewhat educated know that that Nibiru is not in our night sky, nor is it observable anywhere. Well, that's not exactly true. What people are talking about Nibiru, typically would be Planet X, but that's beyond on the outskirts of our solar system, which would be outside of Pluto. But there's a lot of these YouTube videos talking about a planet within our night sky, which all of them are fucking digitally fucking faked. I had a friend fucking believing it was in the sky. You could only see it at certain times and shit. I'm like, I looked. I fucking looked. Okay, I looked with a fucking telescope in the exact spot he told me to. It's not there.
I know.
All right, man.
It's not there.
Well, the space station is supposed to be towards the north anyway.
Well, here's the shit about it. Like, if a planet was hurtling toward us, right? Let's say it's moving 66,000 miles per second, or 66,000 or 166,000 kilometers per second around. All right. You will see this thing. Okay, it will not.
I know.
You will see this thing coming for weeks in the night sky. It'll look like a huge object that looks stationary, and then you wake up the next day, it'll be a little bigger. Now, if there was a planet out there somewhere in our immediate surroundings,
if it's really was so close,
you will see it. You will see it.
Yeah, I know. I had the discussion too today. also about this. You must just see it. If it's really so close, you must just see it. They say, yeah, it's hiding after the sun. But then I'm asking, what after the sun? Huh?
What?
How it can hide after the sun if it's close? Because the sun is far away from us, you know?
But even if
It's-
if it was a completely solid black object that was that close to us, you would still see it. Especially if it was an object in the night sky that was the size of a fucking planet, dude. I mean, look
but
at
yeah,
Okay.
it's. I don't know. I must think about it. It's.
This guy wants his phone number pinged. Looks like he said that they parked down in Maryland or something.
what?
They're on their way to
He was
DC.
having some troubles.
Who is?
Yeah.
What?
He was
What?
having trouble charging his phone, and
Is
I don't know
that
about service.
is that his phone number?
Yeah.
He told me to call him.
You can call him, ping him, send him a text.
Is that our guy in the chat?
He left that.
Where's the call? He's looking at 8:47. Oh, too early.
He can't see the call.
He was
And he was
texting.
looking at.
Am I losing my mind, dude?
okay.
Here, I'll go tech level and see what I can find out with his phone number.
uh, but yeah. I mean, I do understand how like some of the wackadoo fucking like the Washington Post and all that were covering it from I don't know some of the titles I heard about September 23rd were kind of crazy. I mean, the only thing that it really lines up with is just the passage of Revelation 12:2. I mean, that's all that it is. I mean, I don't understand where you get the Nibiru shit. I mean,
But there's always something, you know. First was it year 2000, then was it 2012, then 2014.
yeah,
Now
well,
the now
yeah,
it's the 2017. It's always yeah. And when it don't happen now, tomorrow, then they're gonna
well,
say, "Oh yeah, it's 2020. We make a
yeah,
little mistake."
yeah. Well, like, oh shit, you're like, oh yeah, the redhead, the lady with the 12 stars in her head. Oh yeah, that was not that constellation. It was actually this other one we just discovered. Okay, I mean, I don't know. Like, and
And yeah,
I was looking at some other videos, saying that that some of the people that had come up with this stuff, they were cherry picking what they wanted to see in the representation of what was written and what was actually there. Um, I don't know. We'll see Saturday, which will probably nothing will happen.
no.
I'm grilling stuffed hamburgers, so
Yeah, I get
If
really
it's
when he
really,
excited.
comes
if
back,
really,
I'll
yeah,
get
if really gonna hit this planet here tomorrow, then we must see it. You know,
yeah.
nobody see nothing. You know, it don't make sense. Sorry, that's my opinion.
well, I'll have him a burger ready just in case.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, sometimes I think it's like just propaganda they throw out there to see how many people go for it. Because you always remember that
Yeah.
old radio program out of the '30s. When they scared
War
all
of
those people
Worlds.
thinking Mars was
Oh yeah,
taking over.
the whole H.G.
Um,
Wells thing that was fucking brilliant, dude.
yeah,
Whatever. What was his name that actually did the thing? It was
Orson Welles, the same guy who wrote
Yeah.
1984.
was it him? I thought it was somebody else who did it. Uh
It was the biggest
Orson Welles.
biggest
Yeah.
joke ever.
yeah,
That was good.
there were people, there were a couple of suicides that were affiliated with that.
Yeah, there was also a
Also,
town nearby that saw, even though the people in the town, it was a small town, knew there was a water tank there. When that guy gave the description of the spaceship with the four legs, or however you described it, people actually took out their guns and started firing at the water tank. They screwed it. No, I was serious. It was multiple people in the town. They just opened up on this water tank and took it took it out.
We've been invaded by Martians. I heard it on the radio. I actually have I somewhere I still have a cassette tape recording of the original from a copy from a record. Um, some interesting shit.
Yeah, people believed it.
yeah, this to the people of the world, be aware of the people that are on mad tomorrow, because they're gonna get it crazy tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
Um,
they're gonna be getting gas, milk, bread. I got my
Jen
bread tonight.
Jen Abbott. It says, "Can you talk about the march in DC? What the plan is? Are there any logistics?" Jen, I'm not sure if you're referring to the march in the comments, or march on, or the march or the Million Mass March in DC, because the guy who's supposed to come on will be talking about the Million Parent March. As far as the Million March DC logistics, I don't I don't have the details right now. I could update you probably in the next few days. Um, wait, what is this? What's going on here?
Close this
Um, oh, yeah, Kevin, you said you were you guys are going to be planning something in the next couple of days, right? You
What?
got, yeah. Yeah, you can't talk about that on the air.
Oh, whatever. I don't.
About the flag operation.
Yes, 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 that one.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, between October, October the 22, 23 at midnight, we're gonna take all flags and banners from Anonymous or whatever. We're gonna hang it out everywhere on government buildings, yeah, public places where you can see it good, whatever. It's a little operation that you do for, yeah, for uh, for the Million Mask March, and we're gonna start with this, but the problem is, yeah, we got not arrested here, but in some countries you get arrested for hang flags, yeah, replace them, whatever. But it's it's the public, yeah. Yeah, we wanted to make a little bit of attention about this thing,
Well, yeah, that kind of.
That
I mean, I kind of had an op, but it never kind of went off the ground. Was doing anti-propaganda stuff, anti-propaganda artwork, like the spray and pray, with a lot of anonymous artwork, but it kind of similar.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not a bad idea, we can do it here, and yeah, we are in different teams. We are at midnight between 22 and 23 October. Midnight, we're gonna hang flags everywhere on government buildings, public places, and bridges, everywhere that we can. We have different teams that we are now organizing now, and replace the Belgium flag and the anonymous flag, and yeah,
That's gonna get expensive.
it's yeah, it's gonna be news. Yeah, it's gonna be news, national news. But yeah,
Another op that never got off the ground was the camera takedowns where everybody was supposed to go around silly screen or
Oh,
spray paint. Or,
yeah, it was called Operation Smash a Cam. You guys can still get involved with that if you want.
Oh,
Operation Smash a Cam was in retaliation to um, God, it's everywhere now. It's called Trapwire.
it's a
It's
it's a
Trapwire.
good operation.
Yeah, it's called Trapwire,
yeah,
and essentially what they're using in CCTVs is um um facial
traffic cams.
facial recognition software. It's already been integrated.
Yeah, you can find it in and around Walmart stores, any kind of convenience store or
Well, they're all over.
grocery store
I can
now.
tell you one thing that they're already integrated all over in Chicago. All of those cameras that you see in the inner part of the city of Chicago, those are all integrated with Trapwire.
Oh yeah,
They're license plate readers too.
Really?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, but here too, huh?
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Here in Belgium, we are one of number one here in Europe with this kind of thing. This when you go, we have them here in my town too. When you go with a car, you drive through the city, and they read your license plate. If it's not good anymore, then you're gonna send you a letter, and you must go for court. Yeah, um, it's everywhere here in
There's a
Belgium. It's it's it's
there's
it's bad here.
there's a type of reflective spray paint that you can get that you can spray over your tags. I don't remember the name of it exactly,
Oh,
Oh
but
yeah,
it's like a clear coat
yeah.
and it's
What you use
reflective.
for on your hair? For it's like a gel on your hair, but it's a spray, and you do it over your number plate, your license plate, and they
Yeah,
when they
just
when they take a picture, it reflection back. Because they cannot. Yeah,
yeah, I can't see it. It just gets a big glare
yeah,
right back
sure.
at it.
Yeah. You have you have
It's the
you have a bunch of tricks. Yeah, if you for people that don't want to be caught or whatever, look on Google and you're gonna find it. For cover your yeah your, your car plate, your you
Hey,
have bunch of things.
yeah, you can always smear some mud on it.
Also, yeah, but they have some now mechanic things now that you the motorcycles the yeah they use this a lot with the automatic thing. When they go for camera, they do it down and then do it up with a little button under thing. Yeah, they have a lot of
oh, you
things.
talking about like a smoke trail?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Also, yeah.
It's some of the guys in my area. They have these things called drag blocks where their trucks sit right low and they'll drag and their trucks will shoot sparks out. It kind of it draws a lot of attention to them, but it takes away from the license plate as well.
But yeah, there are a
Well,
lot of tricks that you can use, like like you say, smoke or this gel, the spray that you do.
yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely
you can.
recommend that.
well, I heard a
Yeah,
lot.
that's the best
I heard a
thing.
lot of that shit doesn't work. The only thing that really works on the camera recognition software, especially with the flashes that it needs to get the correct plate. They don't even need the flash anymore because they have infrared cameras.
Yeah,
Is
the
the spray
movement.
is
Yeah,
a it's like a spray on kind of like fiberglass that you spray onto it. It's ultra fine stuff. So when it does flash, it'll leave this like bright um, um, your license plate will look all bright when they're doing the flash, so it can't read nothing. But it doesn't necessarily need the flash to even see the license plates.
Yeah, the trick is to throw that infrared off. The infrared cannot see anything really bright fluorescent.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, way back when, right just before Facebook started implementing fluorescent, well, not fluorescent, but it's facial recognition technology. We're discussing on how it was could the system could be beat, and fluorescent paint was the best way to go.
But they have face recognition. They have face thing on the airports. They have this. I had this when
Yeah,
I
Oh yeah.
go to United States. Yeah, I must go for a camera with my face, and they took a picture and they recognized my thing. Yeah, it was 3 years ago.
yeah. They're in the bus stations as well, the trailways and Greyhounds.
Here,
NFL
Uh,
uses them at the stadiums.
Yeah, also
we
for
got a
hooligans.
we got a question from Carlos Even says, do you guys have any idea if the Federal Reserve is going to burst sometime this year or next year? Um,
Oh,
to be honest, Carlos, because of the immense wealth that the Federal Reserve holds on to, I don't know. That's kind of a tricky question. That's based on a lot of factors. Personally, I do see it around, and what is going on in you're seeing you're kind of seeing right now is the fall of the American Empire and the devaluation of the United States dollar and the petrodollar is starting to disappear. What does that mean? What
if
does
it's
that Yeah? What does that mean for average U.S. citizens? Well, that might mean that currency is not issued to us directly from our government. It does come from a private institution, which is about they name it the Federal Reserve, but it's about as federal as Federal Express. It's actually a private institution. What you might see is a complete change in currency if it's completely devalued out. There's been talk about moving completely over digital currency, and there were plans to have a central currency in between the U.S. Central North America and South America. It was called the Amero. It kind of went nowhere. But do I see it bursting? Not unless we do something about it.
it can happen every minute. Yeah,
Well, I mean, it's been around for like what since 1910, right? So, am I correct on that date? Correct.
around this. Yeah,
So, it's never been fucking audited, and then there were some guys this year that we're talking about trying to get a real audit on the Federal Reserve. And here's the real reality of it. Is that even if we found out that the numbers were skewed or whatever, we already know we're fucked. But what will it actually
we
mean?
did that 10 years ago.
Yeah. What does it
Well,
actually?
more than 10 years ago, really.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Tyler.
I was gonna say is that in actuality, if we audited them, what can we legally do? If we know we're fucked. If the numbers are there to the average American citizen, and everybody knows that we're fucked, and there's a huge fucking protest, we're still fucked.
and and if the
Yeah,
dollar ever collapse, it's gonna be first the euro and then the dollar.
Well, the dollar's already going in that direction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's gonna be first the euro and then the dollar. It's always like this.
you're going to see the stock market get real high, and then all of a sudden it's going to drop bottom. That's how it's going to go. If you've watched the past couple of years, it would go up a couple thousand,
Yeah, and
Well,
now
down a couple.
it's not looking good now too.
well,
Now,
what's going
honestly,
on is on the back end. Cryptocurrency. They said what's going to replace, actual physical currency. And what we're seeing going on here is a lot of market manipulation going on in the Chinese market. Right now, cryptocurrency is crashing due to what's going on in China.
and North Korea.
China is backing out the dollar.
Well, they're
China is.
yeah, they China officially stopped dealing with oil in the U.S. dollar, and now they're doing it in their what is it? What is it? The yuan? The yuan? Yuan?
Yeah,
Yen,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yen.
yen. Um, Yeah, so are they trying to? Do I believe there is some market manipulation to keep actual physical currency based versus cryptocurrency out of the market? I do see that going on right now. It's been dropping. Cryptocurrency has been dropping for the last 2 weeks. Has it ever done this before? Yes, but if it keeps on going on, this will be a record for cryptocurrency. There's so many problems. There's so many problems with replacing physical currency versus cryptocurrency. Also, with the way that the market has been going. Like one day you can find which the leading cryptocurrency over at what was it? The beginning of this year, I believe it was like 1,200, and now it's jumped up to what is it now? Like $3,200 to one Bitcoin. Uh,
It's higher than gold.
yeah. So, but it's been going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down.
And now
Yeah,
everybody's
it's
getting
actually
these
gonna go black.
chips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
So,
getting chip. You got a phone that recognizes your face. You're going to be paying with your face. Unfortunately, with a lot of people, that's not a good thing.
unless us as citizens do something to get rid of the Federal Reserve, which has been robbing us of our own currency, I really seeing it staying around. Even despite an economic collapse.
Wasn't there something about the JFK papers supposed to be released this year, and miraculously, some of it has been misplaced or something
Well,
like that?
that is controversial. Yeah, I believe the was the JFK papers released yet right now? The FOIA requests, or was it October?
I'm not sure. A guy I work with who I socialize with, he listens to the show. He's around some of this, and he was asking about it. I was like, no, I don't really know. I was like, because JFK was assassinated for exposing that the Federal Reserve is illegal.
Yeah.
There's no gold backing it. It's your social security number that's backing it. Your birth certificate is backing the money. And you can look that up. You can go to a broker and have your birth certificate numbers looked up, and you're on the stock market. You're a number.
Well, that was kind of controversial about even the JFK papers getting released, is that a lot of people, including me, thinks he was indirectly or indirectly assassinated to was it Executive Order 100, whatever the fuck it was, which was the abolishment, which would have started the abolishment of the Federal Reserve. And mysteriously, after he was murdered, the next president comes in, and that was the first executive order that was canceled. So.
Well then, so there's three more hurricanes heading this way. Wow,
Sorry,
we're just
America.
not going to get a break here, man.
It's not getting better there. No.
No, some people being pulled out of a rubble in Mexico from the earthquake.
Yeah, there's a second earthquake now.
Yeah,
It's crazy too. Yeah.
something's fixing to be an island.
It's so strange. There's a lot of disasters in the United States and not in Europe. That's make me a little bit. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Uh, the rainforest should be getting all these hurricanes and tornadoes, and there's nothing of that left for all this to circulate to.
True.
And it's all coming right here. I wonder what makes the rainforest so special to get all these tornadoes and hurricanes right here in this little area.
September 23rd.
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, gonna die.
Well, eventually we will all die.
This is maybe the last live stream, guys.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
listen to it.
Just like with the Mayan prophecy, right? Where they were.
2014.
Oh, wait a minute. We can still have a Saturday show.
We need to start that now.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, I'm glad I got the chance to fall in love, have good food. Yeah.
He must have had a smoke and crashed out. I mean,
I don't see him. Where did he go? Not even text message.
Oh yeah.
we were supposed to have what 2 or 3 guests tonight. Well, it's still rough in some areas, man. If anybody's around Texas, Louisiana, Florida, and probably some part of South Carolina, they're still dealing with some crap. They probably will be until at least the end of October. We will in North Carolina and South Carolina, probably Virginia as well.
Were you monitoring Maria when it hit Puerto Rico?
Oh yeah, I was watching the NASA maps. And, man,
didn't it go to a Cat 5 right before it hit?
Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
All winds, no rain until after it was leaving.
But still, when you're dealing with 175 mile an hour winds, man, you really don't even need that rain for it to be damaging.
No.
What's funny is that everybody made a big shit about Irma, and then there's another hurricane, Maria, which doesn't even get much coverage. So it's like, oh yeah, there's one bad one. No, Puerto Rico get hit again. That's not a big issue,
Yeah, and there's one after Maria, and then after that one, there's a little one named Lee. After like shoots them straight off and right into the Gulf Coast. It's amazing, man. I suspect a cold winter this year for everyone.
Maybe. I don't know. I was looking at the 6 month forecast. They were saying everything might be a little warmer than normal, whatever that means.
It's gonna be effect on the Earth with the hurricanes and all the disasters that happen now. It's gonna be a little bit effect. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's happened.
There was 1 month this past year that I did not wear shorts. I actually had to put on long johns and gloves and a toboggan for 1 month of winter.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be affecting the whole world. I think. Don't forget, it's 100 or 200 years. It's always a time that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a strange year, I think.
Yeah, not just weather-wise, but what's going on with the financial market. I do see, something big coming.
Well, they're running up against the debt limit constantly now.
Yeah.
The national debt.
Well,
You can't keep blowing $1 trillion and a half a year and act like you got everything under control, man. I mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah, true.
Trump wants to push it off until December. I don't know if that's a good move or a bad move. I'm not sure what kind of numbers you're working with.
Well, what as I do, Trump. This is one thing I will give Trump is that Trump did speak out. This is something he does understand is money, and what he was talking about before he was going to run for president, he was talking about an economic collapse that would happen around this year or next year. It's inevitable. You know,
So,
you can't like
yeah,
just like what Preston was saying. You can't keep on spending money indefinitely and expecting everybody to
so
bail us. Yeah,
They've
that's
been doing
true.
that
Yeah.
since '08. That's okay for a year or two, but why is it dragged on for almost a decade now? That's ridiculous.
Because they keep raising the ceiling, the debt ceiling.
yeah, but you can't.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
You can't spend that much.
yeah, I was
You
gonna say.
control your spending. Yeah.
Yeah. And then everybody's hollering, "Oh, I need a pay raise," and
Yeah. Yeah.
the stores or whatever is having to get a raise on everything else themselves just to meet that raise, and really nobody got a raise.
Well, I would say that if politicians were paid what they're worth, then we might be saving a shitload of money.
yeah, that's true.
Well, we did have March Against the Fed on 9/11. I don't think it popped off very well, and I don't see the average American even very well educated on even what the Federal Reserve represents or how powerful of an influence it has on what goes on and what happens here in America.
Yeah, I think that might have been what some of this 80 million parent march was about. Was some of the stuff with Operation Expose CPS and the cash cow of trafficking of kids through government funding and medical funding, medical fraud, you name it.
Uh,
I'm really interested more in hearing about this operation of 80 million parent march.
wait. What
And
March?
80
the
million.
parent,
That's a well. Yeah. Why not? I mean,
yeah.
it's got to be big.
I've seen a lot of it in a big movement with the movement against family court. It's male and female alike. They're starting to realize that, hey, why is the government saying our kids are on loan to us when we birth them? So many parents here now are being separated from their kids, and it's ridiculous. It's a big money market, unfortunately. Even pitting parent against parent. Yeah.
All about money.
Yep. That's two things they know we will fight over that they will make money off of is parents fighting over kids. Money and kids is two things that we will always fight over. Whether it's how to spend it for them or whether you're spending enough, not too much.
Yeah, I agree. It's true. Tell him.
Yeah,
So,
sorry.
sorry for the
He,
deep thought.
he got.
That was a deep thought, fellas.
Well, no, I was just going to. Does he have that banner?
Oh yeah, I'm here. What we were talking about? I was like completely off in line. um, what we were talking about? The Federal Reserve, right?
23.
Oh, 23. We already talked about. Well, if you want to go back to the Federal Reserve, the best way to go about it, would be to, completely legally abolish the Federal Reserve, which would have, negative impacts on initial impacts. But if our own government started printing out its own money, uh, things might be a little well better in the long run. I just don't understand why a private institution is issuing our own currency when it does have some really fishy ties to some really creepy guys from the guys with the eye and you know Adam Weishaupt. Just saying.
What was that about Photoshop?
Adam Weishaupt. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's not getting better with all the
No, of
things
course
what's
it's not.
happening
It's
now.
not going to get any. You're getting people. You're getting people that are, can't even pay their own taxes. Which I mean, that most of the institutions that you pay taxes to are false anyway.
Yep.
Adam Russo has told us. Adam Russo has told us, otherwise, and um, Adam Russo has told us
I don't
otherwise.
pay them too
What?
taxes.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
pay taxes and do nothing. I'm done with it, and everybody gonna do it, and then it's gonna collapse, and it's gonna be
Well, I mean,
yeah,
it would take more than just one individual not paying their taxes to really cripple a
yeah.
government. You would probably have to get somewhere around 50 to 60% of a population of your country or local country to cripple a country financially. And in that essence,
Yeah.
you really aren't supporting your government. But here's the deal: here in America, we do, the Internal Revenue Service, is one of the institutions that does have a lot more power when it comes to, debts. If you don't pay them, they can
Can
fuck
they?
they can fuck you over with jail. You know.
Man, you kidding me? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh fuck.
Well,
Well,
but I
that's
mean,
because yeah, we're the land of the free. Come on. I mean, that's how it works.
but you know what's
That's the
funny?
reason I go back to Belgium.
Well,
No, but that's
what's funny is
that's
that the IRS is, it was debated, in a high circuit court, that was actually showing that I believe the outcome is that it was a voluntary tax, on the federal level, which means that you're not really entitled to pay it. But that's the way that all these laws have been written. There's actually really, remember when they had that challenge where they asked people to prove that that you needed to pay your own federal income tax, and even people in the IRS were questioning it, where they couldn't
that's
find the
crazy that
law.
they can put you in jail for this. That's crazy.
Well, yeah.
Well, that's because you can write off of so much. Was
But
it 401(c)(3)? You file yourself as a sovereign business, and really they can't mess with you.
I don't pay taxes now for 5 years, I think. In the United States, I don't do it too. Um, and then I go back to here. I did deport me back to here, but um, what only what they can do here is take your rights. We have the rights for this. Like free. Yeah, we have healthcare things and all. They're gonna take this off from you, that you don't can use this anymore. That's what they're gonna do here.
Yeah.
But really, in jail, we don't have jails, by the way. But prison, no, not really. It must be millions. If you, they're gonna maybe throw you in prison or whatever. But like me too, I refuse. Only what they can do is take my rights, but I don't fucking care because the rights are all fucked up. It don't make sense anymore. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no
my
law makes you free, does it?
yeah. I do my own thing. I have some people that help me, and yeah, I don't pay anymore. I refuse. I totally refuse for pay $1 to the state, to the government. Um, that's nah. I started with this 5 years ago, and I'm gonna still do this further. I'm never gonna pay them anymore. And
you still
no,
you still owe a lot of money from that case.
yeah, oh damn, yeah. And I had some accidents here too. Before I go to the United States, that's 5 years ago. Yeah, 4 years ago, I think. Does I have some accidents that I had? Yeah, it was by my own fault. But I refuse for yeah, and I refuse to pay the state or pay the government. I'm done with it. That's my own thing. Some people gonna do it, some people not. But yeah, that's my thing. I don't want to pay them anymore. No, I'm done with it. Uh,
I wish I could say the same.
But yeah, but not everybody can do this, and that's a
I
problem
know, and
too. You know,
I'm in one of those danger zones where I'm in one of those danger zones where they give me those threatening letters. And what's funny is that I think it was the 1890s, which is another law that should go over this whole incarcerating you for not paying your federal income tax. But here in America, in the 1890s, we did abolish debtor's prison, but yet it's still enforced on the federal level.
it's well, it's like in the time of from the Romans. You know, if you don't pay your money, you get to be killed, or you was locked up. It
Well,
made no sense.
well,
You
here
know,
in
if you
America,
don't
they
get
do even
and the
worse.
people that can pay, what's yeah, what happened with these people that don't can pay this?
Well,
The only
they'll liquidate your assets. So, like Willie
okay,
Nelson. Yeah.
Yeah. There goes your house, your car. Yeah.
they're gonna take it. Yeah, that's what
Your
it
bank
did with me
account.
in our apartment too. They take it too. I don't fucking care. But that's me,
now,
you know.
now, when you
But,
say
yeah.
your
Yeah,
rights,
you
you're
can get
actually
another
talking
one,
about
can't you?
What?
well, when you say your rights, Kevin, you're actually talking about government entitlements, right? They can take away some stipend
Yeah,
or your
they take
apartment
your
or
things away. Yeah, my apartment. They took away my car. Yeah, a little bit everything. But yeah, I have
well, how do they get to your car?
my car. Yeah, but I crashed it. But I had a new one after. But uh,
I'll remember that. I'll do that trick myself.
I've been there a few
but
times.
they take everything. Yeah. But
We just
yeah, I
admitted to
refuse to
nothing.
take. Yeah. Yeah,
Did
well,
it involve
it was a little
alcohol?
bit funny.
Actually, there was alcohol, but it wasn't in the car when
Did
it
I say this live? Really?
happened.
Fuck.
There's a
I'm
lot of
sorry.
smoke I couldn't see.
The bong water spilled everywhere.
That's my driving.
Cocaine
Fuck.
was
I say
everywhere.
this live.
I
But
swear
yeah.
that tree I was swimming around was around my mirror.
Would you leave about 1,000 feet of skid marks too? I mean,
That's
If
not
they
funny,
ask
man. I'm
you,
sorry.
man,
if they
you
ask for your car and you must to give it back, crash it. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Don't do this. Don't do this.
I was thinking insurance fraud, but hey,
Yeah, but
that,
know.
who
that'll
was
Oh,
it?
too
The
happy.
leasing car.
here we go.
I'll
Here we
get
go.
I'll get that paid off.
James Lee
Yeah.
Neely says anonymous equals CIA. Well, I would love to support your theory about that, but I can tell you one thing:
I
neither
don't do
I nor
drugs.
anybody I know in the anon community works for the CIA. Now, have I seen suspicious activity within some of the anon communities over my time with anon that seem like they might have been government related operations? Yes, I have. Um,
Yeah.
but those usually get thrown out real quick. So when somebody says anonymous equals CIA, you might as well just say, with um, what is it? What's his name? God, Alex Jones was saying with Antifa is also working for the CIA.
Everybody's the CIA.
I don't know.
Man.
I don't
Yep.
know. I don't know.
Well,
Kevin, did you get
now
your CIA paycheck? I didn't get mine.
I didn't get my actor's pay either.
Damn it.
That's two checks I'm missing out.
Two?
Yeah, you get
You get
actors
a
pay when
promotion?
you're all these at these events. Yeah, you're supposed to get actors pay if you sign these releases and everything.
I need a vendor's check. That's all I want.
guest. There he is. I see
Oh,
him.
there he is. Oh, he's hiding.
There he is. Arm.
Oh, were you guys just talking about me when I came in?
Yes, I said, where are you? So
Yeah.
we have our
Sorry,
topic.
the food came out quite a lot slower. I was gonna hop on for a little bit while we were waiting on the food, but my mom called trying to check up on everything with the trip and make sure I was still coming back to catch me on my plane and everything.
I can't keep you?
No, you can't keep me.
So
Yes.
inform
Hi,
us.
guys.
Hey, what's going on? Million Period March. What is it about? What's going on?
So the Million Parrot March, it's basically giving a different name for Op Expo CPS when we take the street movements and do our protests. So kind of like a rebranding of that. Like we have the Million Mask March, so now we have the Million Parent March on the Op Expo CPS deal. So that was a 4-day event. 4 days, let's see, Sunday, Monday. Yeah, 4 days. I missed the first day because that's just when my plane happened to leave.
Yeah, but I did it.
Are you are you
So,
are you guys on your way to back on the plane?
no, my plane leaves out Saturday morning,
Oh, gotcha.
so I'll be heading home then. So we're kind of in relaxation mode a little bit down here, and it's not so chaotic finally. But yeah, it's been quite the event. We had various speakers every different day. We've done other events, had parents meeting with senators on their cases, which was one of our the big things we were trying to push is to actually get the parents like face to face that were in DC with their senators. So at the very least, it's on record that these kind of crimes against these children have been committed to the senators. We had a handful of people also go by the FBI, which was pretty much an in-person repeat of the initial start of Op Expo CPS when we did the FBI call-in to demand an investigation into CPS.
Oh.
Oh,
Now,
hold on one
now you said
sec.
you guys at the march might have been infiltrated a little bit.
Well, there was not necessarily infiltrated. Some of the people it was organized with kind of like hijacked it and took some of the march elsewhere. But we weren't going to let that get the situation down. We took advantage of what was given to us and still proceeded with everything else as planned. So ultimately, it really just kind of made more actions across the city in the long run.
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit. I think it's something's interfering. Some sort of radio interference. Are you bet?
There we go. Is that better?
A little bit. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't hear? Or they can't
We're hearing
hear
some
you?
sort of radio interference. Um,
Oh.
And we watch movies.
So let's see, but the guy behind that actually has connections with some of the Veterans for Standing Rock group that went out there for the little photo op that cost a couple $1 million in GoFundMe, as probably a lot of our viewers recall. That was something we talked extensively about on several episodes.
yeah.
But yeah, so I didn't know this until like after it was well under progression that it was the same guy. So it's really starting to look like he's kind of hopping on these hot news and raising a bunch of money, and he's also running for governor of Illinois.
Oh,
So
speaking of which,
it,
when I was in Chicago, and this is something you might know about. Now CPS, and I used to be a counselor. Oh, I guess we're hearing some bad radio interference. But But yeah, in when it comes to CPS's power in the state of Illinois, I was surprised how powerful they were, including up to the point where they have after school crossing guards, right? And I never verified this shit, but all of them had CPS jackets on, and they're there throughout the school year. This is unnecessary. I think it's unnecessary fucking spending. You know,
Well, that's definitely something I've never heard of where they're actually placing CPS officers into the schools
no,
for.
no, no. All
Those
of
are
all of the
school-based
people, the crossing
clinicians, they're
guards, the
called.
people outside of the
I'm
school,
sorry.
School-based clinicians.
Okay, so they call those school-based clinicians.
they're
Is
all wearing CPS jackets. Damn.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of our viewers are familiar with all the scandals related and whatnot. So I guess we don't have to delve too deep into that part. But oh, is this gas station closed? Fuck. Okay, cool. 1 second. Let me get a pack of American Spirits, light blue.
They're 20. I got your change, but you want me to get her gas? You, me, who?
Yeah, that's fine. We can throw gas in there.
Here's yours.
Huh?
It's 89, the mid-grade one. No, 799.
Oh, sorry.
Awesome.
Sorry, she was telling me the price. I thought she was asking for my ID there. All right, so but yeah, just for a brief catch up for those that aren't up to speed.
Oh yeah, I'm running out of money.
So we do op exposed CPS, which is okay. So op exposed CPS is a focus on exposing the child trafficking crimes of various child protection services across America. They go by quite a lot of different names: DCF, CAS, just tons of three letters. But hold on 1 second again.
I know she wants you to have the gas, but ask her if she's getting cigarettes. 'Cause I don't like.
All right. Hey, are you getting cigarettes? Cool Filter Kings. All right. Sorry about that. So the CPS is using Title 4E funding through the Social Security money to pay for incentives to adopt children and get children into the system. If you adopt or the child rather stays in the system, whoever's controlling that child is seeing the money.
Yeah, I think it's anywhere up.
25 in the tank. If we going to DC, how far we going out?
All
Tell her
right.
to put 25 instead of 20.
All right. Hey, 25. The gas. Okay.
That's funny.
Sorry. So, they have this money that tells them that, you get this child, you get X amount of money for your agency. So, how it works a little bit is every year they have to have more than they did the last year. So, say this year they took 100 kids, they'd have to get more than 100 kids, so 120. Then the next year they'd have to get up to somewhere around 150, so on and so forth. But that a smart person can see it coming from a mile away. That creates a huge problem of where, to fill this quota, you're eventually going to have to take children from a home where they don't need to be taken from.
2 million false accusations a year.
So there's the statistics show that there's over 2.5 million false accusations a year on this matter.
You
Like I
mean
said,
you mean like
huge problem.
you mean like the kids being taken out of the home because the mom's smoking marijuana? I got tons of those that came through my office. Like, what the
Well, you
fuck?
see, that's actually what happened in the case that got me involved in this. A little girl by the name of Alex Hill in Texas. I think it was Dallas. I may be wrong on that. So this girl's parents, they were pretty young, like in their early 20s. They put their little girl to bed one night and go out to their back porch and smoke a joint. And their neighbors call the police on them.
Yeah, Ed, go back
So
and
Yeah.
Ed, go
Oh, did we lose them?
back and put this fucking
uh,
tape
they come out. They see there's a child. They see there's a child in the house, so they get CPS involved, and CPS decides they want to take the kid because they're saying the parents are drug addicts, for one little joint. So they take the child, and at such an alarming rate, they get this child into a foster home. Like you typically don't even see it move this fast. And so the parents are getting, I'm guessing it's like weekly visits, maybe bi-weekly visits with their child. And then they start reporting on, we're seeing all these bruises. It looks like my child's being physically abused. And CPS is just ignoring all of these allegations. Well, matter of months, the foster family beat this girl so bad that they put her into a coma, and she remained in a coma for about 2 months, I believe, and then finally she died.
From
And
Go ahead.
from being beaten severely by this foster mother. So I was actually looking up something on this case earlier and came across an article, which I didn't know this part. The foster mother was actually found guilty, and she is now doing life in prison. But this is just the kind of system, like, if a child's being abused by their biological mother and father, the logical first thing to do would be to find a stable family member that could take care of that child, a grandmother, grandfather, aunt and uncle, someone. The closer to the biological mother and father, the better. But this system doesn't make any attempt to do that at all, and in fact it resists doing this very regularly.
Yeah, you'd think that would be the first logical response, would just give them to like a parent, with a sound parent.
Most definitely. And, since this agency is supposed to be doing what is in the best interest of the child, it should definitely be their first move is to find a stable family member that the child is familiar with, so that if a removal, would be something that is like realistically necessary, which most of the time it's not, but, just assuming the case that removal really is in the best interest of a child. The removal process in itself is very traumatic. I mean, just imagine strangers taking you away from your mother and father, and you don't understand why. You just want mommy and daddy.
Yeah, these strangers don't understand what makes this kid sick, what's healthy for it, what's not healthy.
Oh, and they study these kids like lab rats. So, they're doing, I mean,
Well, a lot of them
you
are.
name it, they've probably studied it on these kids, not even counting all the drugs they pump them full of.
Well,
She
I
was
was, I
in
was
the
gonna say that
bathroom or
a
something.
lot
My
of these
goodness, it took her like all
DCFS,
that time to come pick my dog up.
Do what now?
a lot of them are unqualified or unskilled. They give them a crash course into basic child development and psychology, and then throw them in the field.
Yeah,
Well,
most
the
of
the
them
funny
never even
thing
had a
is,
kid.
well, I was gonna say when I got out of prison in 2010, that's actually what I decided that I wanted to do, because I was aware that there was rampant abuse of children all over the place, and they definitely need help. I wanted to do something to help them. But I found out that with the felony charges I had on my record, they would never hire me as a social worker. Well, realistically, but I see articles all across America of social workers that have had drug felonies, sex crimes on their record, all kind of stuff. But they definitely don't check these people out at all.
Not enough. They check, but not
Uh,
enough.
Maybe a little bit, but yes, definitely not enough.
Like say Florida, they have years to be a volunteer to help a family. The social workers don't.
Hmm.
And in other places where
So my friend here was telling me like an example for Florida to be a caregiver, you have to be re-fingerprinted every 5 years, but to be a social worker, you do not.
but you do upon hiring, but that's it.
Oh,
Then they could get away with
Yeah,
whatever
and
they
you're
want.
supposed
Only
to
upon
sign a
hiring.
waiver of confidentiality as well. They have no impunity for
Do
anything
that
they do
with
wrong.
Heck, I'm approved for in
jobs.
Florida, but I can't have my own in Vermont. There
But
you go.
so anyway, back to the starting point. That's largely what we were marching against is the rampant corruption behind
oh, we
that.
got that radio interference going on again.
I know what that is. That's just traveling in the car.
Oh, is it the window down?
Yeah,
Need
people are
5 mile an hour
smoking.
air conditioner.
Oh my god.
Here, let me get my phone out of my pocket. Here, I'll do the whole on my phone here. But yeah, so it's largely what we're marching against. A couple other things, and then there's we're trying to get some form of a constitutional amendment into the Bill of Rights to protect families and them being whole. I think we actually have a few different ones written at this point that we can choose from. But I believe it was either Sunday or Monday. I guess it would have been Monday. There was a Senate hearing on the amendment we proposed. At this point in time, I don't know any results or what was said or anything to do with that, but I'll definitely be finding out soon on that. So let's see, there was quite a lot of different groups like marching under our umbrella as well. Some really big groups. A lot of people who have been around the operation for a while will probably be familiar with Sherry Pfeiffer. She does America's Taken Children. They have two URLs on that. I believe it's americastakenchildren.com and americastaken.com. And what they do is they work to reunify children that have gone through the system and virtually been lost to their parents, with their parents.
Hey, Arm, I can't even make out a word you're saying.
It's in the wind, yo.
Is this any better?
No.
Uh, it's almost like there's like wind going into your microphone.
Yeah, there's definitely that happening.
Is it like the fan?
A window, but that'll pass here in a minute. I can mute from it, and I reckon we can gather any questions that may be, and from the interim briefing
Yeah.
on the OpExpo CPS.
We're not getting anything.
Oh, much better. I don't
I
know
mean,
what you
what we
just
would
did.
really like next.
Okay, so I was saying, yeah, I'm in a moving vehicle, so it'll be a minute on that. But you guys can throw back some questions you have on that, and I'll respond here in a moment.
If you're too public and not comfortable, let's go. We can move on to something else for a bit.
So you were talking about there were different laws that were going to be written out very soon about depart. Is that what you said on Department of Family Child Services?
I think he was.
Oh. Where,
I have a few things written.
All right, so yeah, there's a few different constitutional amendments that have been written. I believe we also have a few just various types of laws that have been written. I don't know which one of those are still in play.
We're still trying to get adoption incentives out of the current bill, and so we're in the process of that bill right now.
Okay, so yeah, we did have a bill that had backing from the Senate of 99 out of 100 senators,
But they kept the
and we couldn't get the adoption incentives, which is one of the main things that fuels this, out of the bill. So that one's kind of off the table for right now until we can get that further along the process and get that which is the exact point, is to get those incentives out of the law. Because, if there's no money to kidnap children, why would you want to kidnap children if you're not making money, right?
Money and children equal corruption.
We'll help with that.
I only caught half of what you just said there. Sorry.
Said the money with the children equals the corruption.
Oh, all day. And I mean, if you need a comparison to understand that, just look at the way traffic tickets are written. Come close to the end of the month and all these cops haven't met their quota. You'll see it. There's people pulled over everywhere. You're way more likely to get a ticket near the end of the month. They're trying to meet their quota, and it's no longer enforcing the traffic laws. It then becomes about making money, and the same thing is happening with CPS. It's becoming about making the money, and it doesn't matter who's done right or wrong.
yeah. Yeah, don't these people even the foster parents? These guys get paid anywhere between $700 to $1,000 plus a month for each one of these kids.
So it's more along the lines of the government is going to be paying almost all of your bills when you have a foster child like this, and the more you have, the further you can expand. And your bills never increase. So say you have one foster child and you're getting, you've got your 2-bedroom house or 3-bedroom house. If you all of a sudden have 6 foster children, well, you need an 8-bedroom house. So, these people get to live in for what to me would be a mansion because they've taken someone else's children.
Sometimes they're given these houses. Isn't that what you just said?
Oh, I'm sorry. Say that again. That came through really rough.
Did you say sometimes they were given these houses to help for these kids?
Well, so the government pays for their housing and all their bills, plus they get X number of dollars of food stamps per kid.
Look what I just did.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So some of it does help out. I get where you say that, seeing where the kids don't always see this money. Sometimes these kids are ignored.
Yeah, see, that's what it is far more than not. It's the kids that are being taken from the loving families that are not being abused, and the ones that are actually being abused and legitimately do need to be removed are not. They're being ignored, and they're the ones that need the help. But when these people go to adopt these children, they don't want an ugly beat up child. They want a nice pretty one. They don't want a child that looks like it's gone through the ringer.
And sometimes it's for the wrong reasons too. From a lot of things that I've read.
Yes.
These kids.
These agencies have no problem giving them to pedophiles, physical abusers, you name it.
Yeah, most of them have never been caught before, never been on any kind of radar in any kind of trouble. That's a big issue.
Just you want to take a shower?
Well, see, another thing they use to target is, say your mother was in the system, like as a child that was taken and put into foster care. She's grown up and now she's had kids. They're going to more likely than not come after her kids. Well, not always.
Yeah, it's one of the risk factors in the
The court system likes to separate the parents, anyways, most of the time. There's a lot more
They'll keep an eye on it.
single parent homes now than what there was maybe 10 years ago or
Yes,
20
and
years
they're taking advantage of that as well. So it's like it's not just oh well, we got a report that your kid's being abused. It could be you're going through a divorce and you're fighting over your child, and the state just up and says, well, you know what, we'll take the kid.
Yeah, and a lot of times these dads go to jail over the monetary reasons because the jobs aren't here like they should be, or they could be.
That's definitely true, and they're using that for targeting as well. You just don't make enough money to take care of a child.
Yeah, and it's tough on these single moms out here. They're trying to juggle going to the schools the kid with the schools, going to work, having to get school clothes. How are they going to get these school clothes? How are they going to get these kids to work?
Well, yeah. I'm a single parent, but I like the girl I had her with, her mother and her husband. Yes, ma'am. They take care of her like during the work week and school time. She goes to school from their district, but like I mean, even just the time that I do have with my child, like doing it by myself is hard. Like no matter what, when your
Yeah, you
child
gotta have.
needs something, it's you. I mean, even if it's just I need a drink of water, like it's you. That means you have to drop whatever you're doing. There's not can you ask your mother? Can you ask your father? Whatever, parent's not there. And that might not, these little things might not sound like a lot, but when you're doing it all day, every day, or, even for whatever time you have your child, like it adds up. You don't have any time to do what you need to do for yourself. You begin to lose the time for housework, catching up on the dishes, the laundry, the whatever. And yet again, we'll fall into more problems where CPS likes to attack. I mean, if they come in your house and you have dirty dishes in the sink, now, I mean, viewers, go look in your sink right now. Is it completely empty? Do you have just, the glass you were drinking out of 10 minutes ago in there? If your answer is yes, then your children are at risk of being kidnapped. Now, think about that for a second. I have a dirty cup, just one in my sink, and that's all it. You might have just unloaded the clean laundry out of the dryer, and thrown it somewhere. It hasn't gotten folded up yet, but then that becomes to a CPS agent. You've just got dirty clothes laying all over your house. Notice I said they came out of the laundry a few minutes ago, but there's still dirty clothes laying all over your house to them. I mean, it's serious. When they tried to do a case against the guardians of my daughter, it was over the fact that there was one beer can, just one, in their trash can on a time period where my child wasn't even at that house. She was with me for like a week and a half before that. And they pursued this case for a while until I basically just went into court and was like, look, you're not taking my child unless it's literally over my dead body. I know the racket, end it now. And I'm not saying that that's going to work for everybody, but in some cases, just telling them this is bullshit actually does work because they know it's bullshit. Everyone involved in it knows it's bullshit.
Well, there's habeas corpus and sui juris. Does that still apply in this type of situation?
Yes, writs of habeas corpus is something that has been successfully used in fighting this. I personally don't have a lot of details on how that works in this situation, but we did have someone that used to be in our operation that knew quite a lot about that actually. Hmm. No bueno. I have lost my cigars.
You already lost them from point A to point B.
Oh no, no, that's not. We didn't get those at the store. I already had those.
I gotcha.
Hmm. I'll find them in a minute. But yeah, I actually wish I knew more about that to discuss on that with our viewers because that has been something that's been wildly used.
I don't know. Like I've had my own personal run-ins, on the therapist community side
Can you see if those cigars are in the car? I thought they were in my pocket.
with they call them DCFS or CPS workers, and when it comes to some of the stuff that these kids children's are these issues where these children's are getting taken away, I don't think that a lot of them are educated on what or what does not even consider as a substance use disorder. A lot of them are unqualified to even diagnose some of this shit. Yet I have,
Oh, most definitely.
I've had these people in my office time and time and time and time and time again.
Hmm?
I go, look, dude, like. I was once even
It's
subpoenaed
all in
by
my
one of them
pocket,
on
I believe.
one of my substance use disorder assessments on a mother who was in there for smoking marijuana. I'm like, look, dude, like I don't know what you want me. I told her this lady, like, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, I can't fucking lie on a drug and alcohol assessment, which can be used in
Right?
court. I can't make her unsay the things that you're saying. Hell, she could answer no on everything, and that is her answer. She has the right to answer whatever she wants to answer on this thing. I go, and this thing, and this particular assessment that we are doing at the facility that I was doing will uphold in court. So I'm like, I don't, and she's like, nah, she needs inpatient
Well,
residential
see,
treatment.
aren't
I'm like, the way she
well,
answered the question is she doesn't have a substance use disorder.
so let me ask you this. Those are like any kind of substance abuse assessment. Like, I mean, I've taken a few through probation and stuff, and everyone I've done has literally just been, them asking you various questions. Mostly, have you done this drug before? Have you recently done this drug? When was the last time you've done this drug? And then like a few like party questions associated with it to like, kind of see what you know, I guess. So it seems to me that a drug and alcohol assessment is largely useless as, any kind of court evidence on anything because like you said, just go in there and say no, 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 no.
Yeah,
You do the
yeah.
assessment, which is just to make money, because if
I
you go
am,
into court and you end up in trial for your children, your lawyer should be saying, objection, prior bad acts are not admissible in this hearing,
yeah, and
across the
I
board,
would
and
also
they
say
don't.
I can't
So
also
the
input
lawyers are the ones.
on a drug alcohol assessment. I can't input my own personal thoughts. I have to state the facts on what the client said. You know, so I mean,
Right.
I can always give my 2 cents. I can always give my 2 cents, but I can't put it anywhere in the reports. Do I think some of the people? Do I think a lot of people that came through my office on a lot of those assessments are lying through their teeth? Of course they are. They don't want help. They don't want to get off the shit. But I'm saying, there was a lot of cases where I'm dealing with DCFS, CPS, where the parents are in there because they say that they're smoking too much weed and they've already taken their kids away. I'm like, well, to be honest with you, like even some of them like were legitly like smoking too much weed, but still like there's no justification on on a lot of rehabs for inpatient residential for a diagnosis of what you would call a marijuana addiction or a substance use disorder for marijuana. You know, I'm sorry.
I mean, is it even possible to have a substance abuse? Because if you call a rehab, I
Well,
mean, I'll do
well,
it.
Well,
If you
yeah,
call a
you know, I
rehab,
have I
they
have
ain't
had a
gonna
few
take you.
clients. Now, to be honest with you, I have had a few clients, throughout the years of being doing this, that I do believe were the true addict in what would normally would have been a cocaine addiction or an extreme I don't know. They were. It was a lot more to it. They were going through a lot more money than an average pot smoker would go to. I had a couple of clients that were on average going through medical marijuana. Were going to like $3,000 a month, and I'm like,
no, that's impossible. That's just no.
No, there's more
I
to
mean,
it.
unless you're doing
$60 a gram.
no,
I mean,
unless you're
they were
doing
literally, they
YouTube
were
dabs
literally,
every day.
they were literally smoking like all day, every day.
I smoke all day every day. I don't come anywhere near 3 grand a month. Nowhere near it. Maybe
It's
300
possible.
a month.
Yeah, it's possible, but you got to be a real professional about it. I
Well,
mean,
yeah,
and
like I
there's
was
some
saying,
out
dude.
there. I mean,
This guy would have to be taking
Professional
like I'm making social media videos of how big my dabs are to accomplish that, and like on a daily basis.
pothead.
that's
You
all
Like
you
can
do. You
find a
just
few
even
on YouTube,
yeah.
right?
even with a location where it's priced high, that's just yeah.
Well, that was
That dude
coming.
was probably doing other
No, like
drugs.
that's beyond the scope of the situation. But it's just
Well,
their lack of oversight.
Well, this.
Their
Well, I mean, I can't state like the little fine details, but let's just say that he was one of those clients that were testing positive, even up all the way until um the point where he left the facility, and everybody kept on saying he was using marijuana. But I'm like, whatever this kid was doing before he got here was a lot, and there's a lot of it in his system, and it ain't coming out. I'm just saying, dude.
Wow. He scraped his lungs and have a bowl pack.
Yeah, where do you come up with
I
that?
like had the pathological image of that, and it was a bit much. But yeah,
You're
Nothing but you've
welcome.
been hanging out with a corner all day.
right.
But there was also the other DCFS. I have one in particular, that had come through my office.
I get
Where
that.
they were stating, that she was an alcoholic, and physically abusive to her kids. And the DCFS, they did actually do a good call on this one. But based on the answers that she had given me, I couldn't do anything other than to tell this lady to come back in to the assessment when she's sober, because she showed up to a drug and alcohol assessment with an intoxication level of. She wasn't actually that intoxicated at the levels her BAC levels were at, which were indicating to me which she was physically addicted to alcohol. So.
Well, I mean, if you're, I mean, maybe she figured that the assessment was to see just how drunk she could get.
I think by the time she came to the office, it was almost to the point where it was like a .3 or some shit like that. So,
Wow,
uh,
that's a pretty
yeah.
good
That's
feat right there.
that's really high. She was shooting for the high score, wasn't she?
She wanted to be assessed early.
She
She's like, at
really
my
did think it
fullest
was that
drinking
kind of drug and
capacity.
alcohol test.
You know, though, there's a lot of people
Am I
who
high enough?
there are a lot of people who struggle with all of that. I mean, obviously we can joke a little, but when it comes down to it, sometimes when they're seeking help and they really want to get into rehab, maybe they've been clean a couple weeks, but in order to get in, the funding says you have to be messed up. You got to have
Well,
it
a
in
lot,
your
a lot.
system.
I hate to say this to a lot of
We've
people who
talked
are
about
trying to
that a
get help,
lot.
but that is true. I mean, like a lot of low bottom indigent places that are government that get their money from the Department of Alcohol and Substance Abuse and other government agencies, they will not take you unless they will not. Well, I mean, they will, but I mean, the faster way of getting into a place without a waiting list is to actually be intoxicated, go through the detox, and then go to inpatient residential. That is true.
Yep.
Or wind up in a courtroom for shit. Yeah.
Now, are there?
That's your easy way out. The first time you go to court for drugs is to agree to go to a rehab.
Yeah,
The second
I have
time they
dealt. Yeah,
get you.
I mean, I have dealt with a lot of those cases, and I've dealt with the horror stories with the court systems involved with people's cases. But is it probably a better option in the long run for somebody who really needs help to get the help that they need with the court incentive? It's a hit or miss, because when you're actually dealing with the statistics of somebody who's trying to get real help, the odds are very slim they're gonna get the help that they need, or they're gonna try and turn the life around.
Well, if you're
So when they
going,
do relapse, the legal consequences are ridiculous. So let's say you're a heroin addict, you're fucking banging like 3 grams a day, right? Of black tar heroin, right? And
Ew.
you get this kid off of it, right? And you give him a little bit of freedom or whatever the fuck he does. He fucking leaves, comes back, gets high, right? He gets high, which is like a normal response for an addict. Not only did he just relapse, right? But because he's affiliated with the court and the courts are paying for the treatment, his consequence for his relapse is going to be a lot harsher than it would be in a normal rehab setting. He's going to have to go and do some jail time because he relapsed, which is like, I mean,
well,
they don't give him any leeway.
So right, so we're incarcerating people
for being sick.
for being sick and for I mean, I guess if we're gonna feed into this whole mental health racket, then we're
Well, I think that the beginnings of the mental health into the drug and alcohol aspect of the court system is in its baby phases. I do, but they gotta lighten up. Like, you get a couple of chances, you get a couple of freebies, and then, you know what I mean.
I think we've got to stop pretending that this loosely loosely worded ways. Like you can just go in. I mean, I have had, having to deal with DCF since the age of 12. I've had multiple forensic assessments, and I mean, I can pretty much just decide the diagnosis I want at this point. Like it's redundant. I mean, the questions, the endless baiting people really, because when you go any doctor you go to now, practically go to the pharmacist, get your blood pressure taken, they've got a little mini psych eval. Are you suicidal? Are you safe at home? Do you have money problems? Like, really, get out of my business and stop trying to inflict thoughts into people's heads.
well,
How many times
That's
they
Obamacare for you.
well, I was gonna say, I was gonna say,
Obamacare has made it easier for DCS, DCF, and all those to come into your home and see if you're on drugs
oh, I
or
know. Oh, don't
smoking
I
a
know it?
pot.
And oddly, the thing is that throughout the entire case, I never actually was given a drug test or accused of any kind of an issue like that. But
well, any kind of diagnosis with an ICD-10 code and a suggestion to getting further help, and any suggestion of medications or money in the clinician's pocket.
oh no, I know. No, yeah, you go and like I was running around most of the year, so and had some insurance issues, so I was off of my prescriptions, and which to me was a really good thing. I finally basically made it off of Adderall after, God, I don't know what, 26 years that they had me on that crap. I'm 38, so yeah, you can do the math. And so I 6 months of my life, yay, finally, other than when I was pregnant and breastfeeding, they didn't put me on it, but I go in there for a note to be able to get an extension to find more time on my housing because it had been a huge national housing shortage. And I got the note, but sure enough, he had to make sure I had a prescription for Adderall before I walked out. After 6 months of no meds, why do I need it now? I mean,
Well, don't you know? Don't you know you're not focused enough?
I guess I'm not focused enough.
I'm joking.
What
I
do they
don't know.
call that? A limitless pill?
I don't think this woman has any problem focusing. They just want her to focus on something else, like pills, apparently.
Well, the thing
That's,
is that
that's
when I was on the Adderall and I was taking them, I was taking it a higher dosage. Um, I don't think that I had ever been so focused on the law and how to write and read and learn all that stuff. So I think the one drug they probably should have kept me off of was the one that was going to make me learn how to take them away. They're going to go away. They're going to stop. I mean, any protection agency whose goal doesn't somehow consist of us not existing anymore. I mean, like we do Op Expose CPS, and I really think that our end goal, our mission statement, really should just simply be to live in a world where we don't need to do this anymore.
Yeah, you don't have to force people to be parents. I mean,
No, they're gonna. It's everywhere, every direction, and we've met some amazing people and had some amazing support to get this march going and completed. And I mean, just all along the way, it's been very eye opening. We've had support from what is it? I think it's Justice Farmers or Justice. I don't know. I'd have to get you the link. I don't want to butcher it, but Ethan was great.
it's cool. I've seen a big rise in the family court movement and stuff. You have family civil rights movement, the fathers civil rights movement, one for mothers.
Oh, I mean, we had so
Uh,
many groups come out, Facebook groups, actual nonprofits. We had Family Forward Project, Cardi regularly. She came out. She spoke a couple of different times in different areas to make sure that everybody got a chance to hear her, which was, and she has amazing information on these things. And she also has helped lobby some things, like, I mean, her she's been a prosecutor, she's done psychology, and now she's dealing with trying to get people their kids back. So hearing from her and having her take her time and come all the way up to DC for us. Brian Kinter came in. I couldn't even begin to list off everybody, but we had an amazing neurologist, James Kelly, who came from New York with Carlos Rivera.
Yeah.
He's a doctor who they had taken his license away because of owing child support, which he finally got that back. So that's great. An actual good doctor out there. I mean,
wait, they took his license for owing child support.
I do believe
They
so.
really needed the money by taking his license to work.
I do believe so. I mean, some of these cases you
Actually, now
can,
that I think about it, we may have had him on this show for something else.
you might have, but I know if you reach out to him, he'd be more than
I'm
happy to
yeah,
chat.
yeah. I'm gonna contact him and see about that because I
He's a
feel
great
like we have.
voice. And I mean, do you have my whole list? But there was just so many great people that came on out. Jerry Pfeiffer, I have got to say, has got one of the best things that this system could need for cleanup. Yeah, I mean, after the system doesn't care. You turn 18, they don't, unless they can make more money out of you in jail or to make sure that they can get your babies. They're not all that interested in success or even reunifying families. But what Jerry does at americastaken.com is allows parents to register themselves and their children. They have a little treasure chest where they can leave photos and little notes and stuff. And her computer system and her search angels, and hopefully some of you listeners are search angels, and if not, you guys have the skills, so become the search angels. But what she's doing over at americastaking.com is just amazing. So, and I'm not one to be like, hey, go spend your money. But if you have lots of money and you want to help people get their kids back, she needs money for DNA testing, reunification services, and she has just got. I mean, it's the only one that exists, and honestly, it really needs to be the only one that exists because this is just one of those things that can't be duplicated, and it's pretty
If it could, it
perfect.
wouldn't be run by someone with
It wouldn't.
intentions that pure.
Yeah, her intentions are from the heart. I mean, and she is literally probably on her last breath. She had her oxygen there, but she was bound and determined to make sure she made it out there to get her voice out there for these kids and parents, and to meet some of the people who have who have supported her, and some of the people that have signed up with her. I mean, and she is in person even more gracious than she is online. And I just have to say, I really appreciate her for coming out. um, it wouldn't have been the same event without having her there. And yeah, she really, she put in a good long weekend. Really, a lot of walking for her, and so
Well, she at the same time is one of the people that like really helped Op Expose CPS take that first leap and like get our name out there to the actual people that needed to find it. Like we wouldn't
yes,
have this army of pissed off mothers and grandmothers probably without her and a few other people.
I mean, absolutely, absolutely.
Well,
There's some true
the
warriors
law
in here.
varies from state to state, especially when it comes to grandparents' rights. And parents have problems, grandparents can jump in and claim the kids. But these things vary from state to state as well.
See, yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely one of the things that we're looking to move towards is if the child absolutely does need to be removed, they need to stay, if at all possible, within the family. Like there's plenty of kids out there that have been given up by their parents that need a good family, and these type of adoption
Yeah.
agencies are ignored. Like that's the last place someone's actually going to go to find a child.
Adoption really needs to be reserved for the truly vulnerable and I mean I don't even like the words they use. I'm tired of the language that we're using, but um orphans, actual orphans, tragedies, the things and then still, I mean, how can you truly say no a person has no family willing to take them to the point that they need to be adopted? The only way that would happen with all the amazing foresight that DCS seems to be able to have if they can predict what a parent just might do in a year or two in order to take their kids, they ought to be able to predict a few other things to help out. It's beyond ridiculous at this point. It's nothing.
Yeah, it was originally started during what was Vietnam and Korea, the 70s and 60s to
The
help the
Mondale,
parents.
what was it? The Mondale Act was one of the first laws put into place. Don't quote me that it is the first. I can't say it's the first, but I can say it's one of the first that really started to
Well,
incentivize and use government funding and Social Security to to secure these children. Or I could quote one of the social workers who testified against me. We captured the children. We captured the children,
Recapture.
let
she
me
said, and they capture Title IV
let me back
funding.
up for a second.
Go ahead.
To the keep it in their families, and I may be wrong on this, but I believe that if a grandmother was to receive the child, she's not going to get the federal funding, or the
Yeah.
child isn't going to receive the federal funding like it would if the child went to a total stranger.
The only way, whether a child spends a day in foster care or 15 to 22 months or 6 years like myself, the only way in this current law and in this current funding structure for the states to get reimbursed for that money is if the child is terminated from their parents and put up for adoption. That's the only way the bill gets paid. And so of course that's why you're going to see high numbers like 97 to 98% of all children taken from their parents can't be reunified. Then why are we paying you people to do it? Apparently you don't know what you're doing if your programs are all saying that we save families and we keep them together and we know how to fix everything because we're so perfect, but yet you can't manage to fix but 2% of the cases that go back home. And those children are children that, often, very often, um, would not have the best of chances of being adopted in a line up 100 children. That one might stay in foster care forever, and so they go home and sometimes there are really good cases where the parents just hands down win in court, and it's happening more and more. And I don't want people to think it's an impossible battle, because we are finding that things like demanding a judicial review on the case really does give the family some more traction.
What do you know about the habeas corpus
I
stuff?
know that a writ of habeas corpus is typically something that's used where the prisoner himself or herself or someone from their family can fill out the paperwork on their behalf. But a writ of habeas corpus is filed in the first person, much like a civil lawsuit. If you're taking notes, a civil lawsuit also has to be filed in the first person, meaning by the person it happened to. So a writ of habeas corpus means it means it's an order to bring the body to the court. It means produce the body. Produce the body. It means prove that this person is still alive. And the only way that you can apply that is if there was no one harmed in a crime. So it's for people that are sitting in jail on pot convictions might want to go ahead and research that kind of stuff. If there is no injured party, a writ of habeas corpus very, very well could apply to you. But to apply it to children is, I mean, I would love to try it. I'm willing to
Well,
try it, but I wouldn't know how yet.
see, that's
It's hard.
something Repo was experimenting with.
Yes, and everybody who's thought about trying it either ends up somewhere they don't want to be, or
Disappeared.
well, I mean, I wouldn't say that it goes, but yeah, it's a dirty business. The corrupt business of
Yeah.
child welfare is Nancy Schaefer's final writings for her Senate address. I mean, I don't, and anyone can find it online. And I've seen it multiple times on YouTube. Her speech, and that, I mean, I'll say it again: the corrupt business of child welfare, and that came from a senator who was in that business, and she found that everywhere she turned, she couldn't get remedy for families, people she knew that she knew
Hold
for
on, let me
sure.
see if I can pull this up.
I'm sure we have one. I mean, I can't spell her last name. It's one of those names that,
Yeah.
yeah, you're wrong
S
too.
C
But
H A F F E R.
thank you, AFFER, not
Okay.
UF. But I mean, yeah, I don't even know at this point. We're having a shift in tides. There's been some,
This one.
some people have had a harder time falling into a leadership position or being able to keep that position. Yeah, that one within the movement. And then we also have had a lot of unity, really. I know it might not seem like it from the Facebook perspective, and sometimes if you're like right in the middle of it all, it seems like it's more disaster than it is good. But the overall feel from what I was hearing throughout town and from the public is that they were very impressed to see so many parents and so many different groups and different people all come
How
together
many people you think
for.
showed up?
I mean, you had a much closer view to that
I don't know.
area.
A couple hundred.
200, maybe
Okay.
300, which is nice, and maybe next time we'll be bigger and stronger. And this starts, this starts
I know what I can
everywhere.
compare it to. It's roughly about the size of the Million Mask March last year. It was about how big it was. Maybe even a little bit bigger,
It's
but
pretty
not
good.
by much. It was pretty close.
You know, so and when you do have a lot of different groups, what we really did this year was take a lot of different groups from Facebook and all of those leaders and try to come together and with one plan, which is always very difficult because each one of us has our own mission. And but the overall idea was for us to get together really and just do some things like some of us went to the Supreme Court Constitution Day on September 17th at between midnight, right around midnight, to kind of ring in a new day with the homeless youth across our nation that are out there. And we tried to sit around and have some ideas about what we can do where Op Exposed CPS and Op Safe Winter can maybe start to really get some resources out to these teenagers so that their lives don't turn into becoming. I mean, they're targets for pedophiles and for people that use forced labor and
Prostitution.
prostitution, and I don't know what we
Especially
can
the
do,
ones
but I
that
know
just
we
age out
can.
onto the streets. Those
Yeah,
are really high targets for prostitution because they're still really young, but legal
Those
also.
family, nobody really knows about them, worried about them.
yeah, exactly, and they don't know
That
where
too,
their parents
yeah.
are, and those are the audience we need to get those that taken website out to, so they can get on their little Facebooks and go to the library. We need to let them know the internet at the library is free and that they can search for jobs, and we need to start getting that information out to people that you don't have to have finished high school to find a job. That what you're hearing from these people that are above you is not always true. You can find a path for yourself. It doesn't have to be drugs. You don't have to stay stuck out there. I mean, I don't know what the path is for everybody, but I do know that if we all come together and get our efforts together with good intentions, and we go out there in teams of two or more and bring these, and I say teams of two for many reasons. I'm not even going to spell it out, but it's protection for all of us, and accountability, and get out there and feed these kids and tell them, hey, this is kind of how we do it. This is kind of how I mean, I'm more than happy to tell them how I managed to survive it all. But yeah, we've got to. We got to get these kids out of the clutches of people that want to do nothing but harm them for any reason. It's unacceptable. This is not what we're paying taxes for. This isn't what I want my Social Security. You know what I mean? Social Security. If we break that down into two words, we're supposed to have a socially secure society where we're healthy. But the money's being used to create prisoners and prostitutes. And I don't want to pay it anymore. And I think that as a nation, we really do need to demand healthy outcomes for our money. This is our money. These are our people. These are our families in our streets, and we don't have to pay for this. We do not. That's not how it works. If you pay somebody to wash your car and they don't, you don't pay them. We're paying them to heal families and to help with small situations, not to create controversy for profit and commit, which is fraud upon the court and the people. On the court, by the court, of the court, it's fraud, which is void if you can prove it. It makes the case void, but they make it impossible. You tell them that they're committing fraud, they tell you that you're insane.
Yeah.
Church separate from state,
Still.
basically how they're doing with the BLM, the Black Lives Matter movement, black
I mean,
versus white.
with any of it, it's all, and we can't, every time that we accept the label, or, people tell me, oh, are you a Republican or you a Democrat? Honestly, I don't know.
The
I don't know what
redistribution of
I
wealth.
don't know what the
And
rules are. I guess I need to know what the rules are to be each thing. Like, do I have to wear red shoes on Thursdays to be a Republican? Is that part of the rule? Or what are the parameters for each one of these parties, and why are we even bothering to make parameters? Why can't we not just focus on the issue? Do we need a title first to focus on any issue? Because if all we're going to do is sit down and have meetings about when to have a meeting so that we can have a meeting about a conference call and then maybe we'll have a meeting, nothing's going to get fucking done.
Man, that sounds like my old job. The
And
middle
this is
managers at
and
my
this is
old job, what you just said, that was incredible.
well, this is going on with children, and they're waiting to find out, and all they get to hear from these social workers and sadly their parents who are forced to deliver the good news without promising anything either way somehow. And all you could do is say, we're going to have a meeting about that and we're doing the best we can. No. How many meetings does it take to get a child back home? One.
Well, that's all it
You
takes
think,
to go
right?
take.
Right. It doesn't, and this other thing that's really ridiculous is this transition period for the child to go from the foster home back home, where they give them these visits, and then all that is a witch hunt to try to find more information, or trip you up in the process so they can turn around and terminate your rights. They didn't transition your child out of the house. They didn't bring them to the foster home for an hour supervised for a little while, and then maybe four. You might be able to go to a walk for the park, but we're going to follow you from 100 yards behind. They didn't do that when they put the child into foster care. So it's absolutely ridiculous that we transition them out.
Well, yeah,
And
that's
the
any
healing
it's any
process,
it's any way to get
Yeah,
more
the
money,
child
right?
wants a transition period out. It's going to be about 2.5 seconds.
right, exactly. And
Get
I'm
me
no, for
home.
real. I have a mother that has addiction issues and was abusive, and I can tell you straight up, it was still better than what we were living in. We don't need a transition. I didn't need all that. Every child that's stuck inside of this system is the only thing that they're waiting for every day is for somebody to come and tell them they're going home. That's it. All the other stuff, all this other shit, that doesn't mean anything to these kids. All of this fake crap that the system throws at them, and these little foster kid of the year parties and other bullshit. It's nothing. It's sick. It's disgusting. This is what we're
You're
doing to
speaking
people.
from
We're
experience,
treating
huh?
them. We're treating these children worse than the way that the dogs and cats were treated for Hurricane Harvey. I saw and not that I'm trying to say that dogs and cats' lives don't matter, but I mean, come on, do we have to have Dogs Lives Matter hashtag or something to get the point across? Because they went and took these dogs that might drown due to a natural disaster and shipped them all over the country, made a big deal of it, put it on the news. It was news. That's news. Wow. But we can't do that for families. We can't make sure that that a foster home is willing to take the entire family and help them, not just the children. Why not? A homeless family is a homeless family. If you have room for 2 kids in your house, you have room for 2 kids in that long. You know, it's not that difficult. We can adjust this system. Okay. So me, yeah, you know, I mean, we have a whole ton of ideas, and we're not going to go away until they give us everything we want. I mean, it's our money, you know. So sorry to like totally take over, but this is kind of like my thing.
Oh no, you're
You're
good.
fine. You're fine.
Been the show in a while either.
I just like snatch the phone up. So you know, I would hope that if anything comes of this, we can learn that we don't really need to focus on the infighting at all. It doesn't matter.
Just be the viewers way.
Yeah. You know, we were still heard. The president drove by our.
Whose is this?
That's mine. And the parents got to put their signs up, and you know, and that felt good for them. That was really great. What else? I mean, there was a lot of really cool little things throughout that happened that really helped kind of tie it all together. There were some volunteer rap musicians, rappers, singers. I don't know what we're supposed to call them now, but they came and they did it. I put it in the fridge. They would do, you know, a few songs, and then we'd have parents speak and a couple other people. So it really tied in well on Sunday. And then Monday was the big march, and Tuesday were a bunch of speakers. But right now it's all kind of broken up all over a bunch of pages. So I'm hoping we can get it all gathered together into
Yep.
something cool.
I'll put a nice recap of everything together when I get home. And
I have a little something here written about sui juris and habeas corpus. It's U.S.
Yeah.
Supreme Court decision of Brady versus U.S. 379 U.S. 742 at
Okay.
748. It was 1970. Waivers of constitutional rights not only must be voluntary, but they must knowingly intelligent acts done with sufficient awareness of the relevant circumstances and consequences. The private interest here is that a man and the children, with the children he has sired and raised, undeniably warrants deference, and absent a powerful countervailing interest protection, it is plain that the custody and management of his or her children comes to the court with a momentarium for respect lacking when the appeal is made to liberties which derive merely from shifting economic arrangements. Kovacs versus Cooper, 336 U.S. 795, 1949, Frankfurter J. Concurring. The court has frequently emphasized the importance of the family. The rights to conceive and to raise one's children has been deemed essential. Mayer versus Nebraska, 262 U.S. 390, 399, 1923 is the year. Basic Civil Rights of Man, Skinner versus Oklahoma, 316 U.S. 535, 541, year 1942. And rights are far more precious than property rights. May versus Anderson, 345 U.S. 528, 533, year 1953.
hey, can you actually send this to Tyler and have him like put it up on the screen?
Yeah, to read it out like that is makes it hard, kind of hard to follow. But I would love to read that, actually read that decision, and maybe even follow up and see where it's proceeded from there. I mean, and if it's something, honestly, we can't find the like perfect way because every case is so different. But
Oh
it would be
yeah,
amazing if there's a way to, you know,
Or
to help
there's a.
people that,
This is something I have written in my drafts from my own research, and a lot of it is
yeah, I mean,
about
it
due
sounds
process
good.
clauses.
It's just hard to follow with the, you know, over this, but I want to read that for sure. One on one, or send me a message. Get my information from Ed because I want to read that.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it. I mean, I have a few other things. How the social services is much like Hitler's and Stalin's SS. The Luftwaffe, which separated family from family, kid from parent. If you control the parent, you to control the parent, you can control the children.
Right.
Yep.
No, they use the children like a carrot in front of the horse.
Yeah, and it's just like food. You control food, you control everybody.
Fishing pole.
Well, no, exactly the same thing. I mean, I'm sure. Sometimes the only words I can say is, what the fuck? Like, this can't be real. This can't be happening in what we call a civilized society, because if it is, then we're not a civilized society. This is not a civilized society if this is what is going on. And it's going on. And that's just one facet of it. And then you have the, what? I don't want to hear that. Thank you. Then you've got the, the prison stuff, and you've got I mean, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. There's something at every turn, it seems, these days. It's sad. You get all kinds of things going on. You've got hospitals having so much bureaucratic crap that people can't even get the care for things happening to them right there in the hospitals. Whatever, I mean, I'm learning every day. I met a woman today who should have simply just had her medical bills paid for an injury that happened while at work in their hospital, and her whole entire life gets to be upside down. And I mean, it affected every facet of her life, and she's, that's just insane. And but and like, and sometimes you can look back, and I mean, it's a hard thing, but it's hard knowing my children are where they are, and to try to stay positive and say there's going to be a day where I look back and this will somehow be worth it. It will somehow make a change. That this lady here will somehow be able to make it so that equipment at the hospital has to remain functional, so that it doesn't snowball into something where someone gets so hurt and so damaged that they could nearly die. Well, no, I mean,
due to the fact that they didn't want to spend $85,000 to replace the coolers. They would much rather let people, loved ones, come in the hospital. The refrigeration unit isn't working. All you doing is putting down
I don't know if they
Freon
can
in
hear
it.
you with the water.
Can't hear you.
Well, they can't hear you with the water.
Oh,
They'd love to hear you. Believe me, they'd love to hear you.
yeah.
Yeah, but we have learned some things today.
Oh yes, we have. I mean, and hopefully that's, if you do nothing else any day, you should learn something new. Otherwise, your day's a total waste. I mean, if you can't get up every day and learn something new, stay home and leave the rest of us alone, because we all want to change things. If you want to be mean and nasty, or you have to backstab and lie about people to try to feel better about yourself, stay inside.
Agreed.
We don't need that. We don't. You don't have to come out. It's not a rule. You know, keep your dirty, nasty
Well,
people like that. Just stay home.
It's just like all these trolls and this infighting and all this BS that's going on in every aspect of the movement everywhere. I see it I've been avoiding
What are you
a
here
lot of the
for?
social media because there's just been so much infighting and drama and BS. I've just been hiding in the shadows and putting in work. And this is how movements fall apart. Who is the enemy? Is it your fellow anon, or your fellow parent who had their child taken? Is it your fellow anti-GMO activist because you might want to fight the system just a wee bit different?
But it's so much easier to go after somebody that you're angry at.
Well, then that means that
Yeah.
means that means you're scared. If it's
Yeah.
easier to go after your fellow activist than it is the one you're doing your stuff against, then you're too scared to be doing this. Go home.
Yeah,
Yeah, stay
that's true.
home.
No, I was being sarcastic when I said
But
that.
when we go out and we protest in the streets, no matter what it is, and we'll still say this sitting in jail. Uh, if we were scared to go to jail, we'd stay home. And I mean, if you're scared to fight the system, same thing. Stay home. Y- You know, I see the hate factory still running around this show causing drama. Like, you guys don't have to be here. We're definitely not going to engage you anymore. Like,
Yeah, no,
at
I
all.
learned that a long time
Yeah,
ago.
trolls are on a non-engagement issue from henceforth, so their fun is dried up here. I can assure you of that.
I've dealt with some wild and crazy accusations over the last few months while trying to plan this, and not engaging. I mean, it really is, why? Why do you have to, So I just don't. I don't care what people say about me, but, You want to talk about me, at least make sure that you like spell my name correctly, because then that way Google sends me bigger checks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy my name.
What? What?
I'm gonna buy
True.
my name as an ad word, so I get paid whenever someone Googles it.
Hey, the way they're trying to dox everybody these days, that might not be a bad idea.
Why
I was
not?
gonna
We'll
say
put in a little
everybody's
fun.
trying to dox everybody. It seems like nowadays, like, hey, I'm pissed off you, I'm gonna dox you, man.
What is there to find out that
I
I
know,
don't
right?
already know about
Exactly.
myself?
Well, what's funny
You're
is
gonna
that
tell
they
me a
pull
whole
shit.
bunch of stuff about me?
They pull shit
Wow,
out. They
you're
pull
really
shit out of.
catching.
Yeah, it's funny when they pull shit out of the hat and they make up shit that's not even true. Then that's where it starts getting hilarious.
Be
True.
noobs too.
Yeah.
Well, we all have a purpose, and if we can't stick to that purpose,
Those
we need to
people.
go find a new purpose. That's for sure. Because the ones of us that are actually serious about trying to make change in any aspect, we ain't got time for this shit. What does that mean? Ain't nobody got time for that. There we go. Ain't nobody got time for that. Like, come on now. And you know what? If you got time to just come around and make nothing but trouble, you're obviously in it for some kind of countermeasure. So
Yeah.
we're not gonna waste our time on these silly little countermeasures.
Yeah.
I promise you guys, like that's why nobody's seen me for quite some time. I've been getting shit done because the trolls can't find me unless I let them. They can't harass me unless I let them.
Yeah, that's true.
Where has Ed been? That's been the good question for a long time. A lot of people have been asking that. Ed's been getting shit done. So and I'm gonna make sure the rest of the good people start getting shit done, and the trolls can't be an issue, and all these people who just want to fuss and fight.
Or make
And
money.
and you know what? If you're also the type of person who can't sit down and talk to someone, come to some kind of agreement, hear someone out, you don't even have to come to an agreement. You just have to find a way to work with someone you don't agree with, because guess what? We're not all going to agree.
You don't even
I
have to like
promise
them.
you, not all of us in this show right now agree on political stances. I know one person against myself have the most opposite political views possible as far as this show could go. But here we are. We never fuss and fight on air. We debate. Yeah, we have some good debates. That's how you have really good debates and find a common ground. But I've never called him a name. He's never called me a name. We've never done it rudely. So everybody out there listening,
Yeah.
it's time to make a decision who you want to fight. Us or the people you showed up to actually fight.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even that. It's, do you want to spend your time fighting, or do you want to spend your time changing things? Because it's not that we're fighting them, we're changing our country. This is ours, it belongs to us. When you have court, it is your day, not theirs. This is our country. This is our money. These are our taxes, and they are our votes. And if you don't like to vote, well then don't vote. But at the same time, if you're not, I'll tell you now, if you're not registered to vote, and I ask you to sign a citizen petition that only takes 10 signatures that might save a life, I'm not going to want to talk to you after that, because I don't have time to go walk down the road and be like, "Are you a registered voter? Are you a registered voter? Get up, get out, get some." If you don't know why, just do it. Start doing it. If you don't know how to, if you think that you do not know how to approach your legislator, I will tell you straight up that I have talked to some very amazing legislators in Superman pajama pants, because I had just gotten out of my car after driving for 8 hours and I was tired and I didn't feel like changing while somebody was walking down the street next to my vehicle. So I went in my pajamas and had just as productive of a conversation as I would have, maybe more so, than in an itchy suit. So You can go in there as you are, you know. I mean, you go in, and as long as you are respectful, you walk into your legislator's office and literally walk in. I didn't say knock. You walk into your legislator's office and open the door, and you'll see that there's probably a sofa and some tables and some information. There's a couple of receptionist desks. There's doors that go to different offices, and they'll talk to you and they'll help you set an appointment, give you a card to schedule an appointment. You can meet with them either in your home area at their offices, or they have them in DC. You don't have to go to DC to see your federal legislator. And it's important that we do these things.
Walking in their office also has a high chance of actually just getting them right then and there.
And you know, for anybody who's like really serious about this stuff and wants to make changes and wants to, you know, and you are, if you are the new real media, there's a lot of perks to knowing your way around DC. So maybe there a lot. It's You can get a lot done if you know the right people around. You can get on the right press floors and be in the right places and make a lot of things happen. And it works. So I mean, it works.
And yeah, that's another thing for the media at the Senate. You also, all these alternative media, like it's not just ABC, CNN that gets to go up to the press floor at the Senate. Like
I
you can.
broadcasted from the press floor. I did it
So
in a t-shirt, not a tie.
but you know, like she said, this is really our system. So
We need to build it our way. Turn it
it's
into what we
time for
want.
us to take it back and start participating, and that doesn't require us to get voted in. That just
Exactly.
requires us to make a presence. And you know, yeah, if you just can't get out to where, you know, DC, you can still do it in your own state.
There are multiple ways.
But you know, there's email and letters. I personally don't think
Postcards are
most of
effective.
those aren't as effective as if you can actually like make sure that your words are going in their ear. But
We have some
eventually
cool
something's gonna
stuff
have to
coming up
give.
this winter.
If we have so many people coming in to complain about any aspect of the system, to seek change to the level that we took time out of our life to go to DC and see these people, eventually something's going to have to give.
We have the right
Like,
to remedy and redress, even if you don't necessarily know how to do it. They still, that's their job, is to help guide you through your process to be able to get your remedy and create changes in your communities. And that's what we pay them for. We pay these people. We pay these departments. This is our money. This money isn't coming out of thin air.
well,
We pay it in for all of this stuff. And we just, at this point now, we need to say, listen, our money, you know, it's like if you run a car manufacturing company and you start building the car, and partway down the line, five of them just explode every day, and the rest of them that come out are dysfunctional and falling apart, and you know, they're just all over the road and wheels are falling off and everything. Are we going to continue to allow that company to operate? No, the government wouldn't. But the government has CPS, and that's what they're doing. They have 5 major accidents that are resulting in death inside of their system every day, and probably more. And whatever's coming out at the other end needs a recall all the time because they keep taking their kids and their kids and their kids, and this one's in jail, and they keep recalling them back into the offices and recalling them back in. Why are we allowing that to operate? That's a dangerous and deadly corporation inside of our country. Corporation, I said.
well, on that note, there's quite a few doctors that have shown that things like very stressful situations and traumatic situations.
James Kelly, that neurologist.
Uh, is he or is he the one you're talking
He's
about?
the one with the
Okay,
really, really, really
yeah.
light hair.
So
For those who
there's
see him on video.
yeah, there's James Kelly who actually spoke at our march, and then he knows quite a few others on this subject matter, and then I know another one who was actually featured in the third Zeitgeist movie who speaks on a lot of this. So, very traumatic situations and specifically violence at a young age creates a change in the brain, like on a genetic level.
That's true. Yeah.
That, so they've isolated violence to being genetic, and it will cause this change in the brain to make this person be like have the potential for violence. Not necessarily will be violent. They just have that potential, which largely is acted upon. So, like, really, when you take that into account and how this system is creating these violent and traumatic situations for these children, and then so once you have this genetic predisposition for violence, uh, you will then pass it along to your children. So, the more we do this, of course, it's going to compound upon itself. So this system is literally breeding a more violent society by the day. And if you look at any statistics related to violent crimes and violence in general, it ain't doing nothing but going up. Where do you think all this violence is coming from?
We're
Violence
building it. We're paying
begats
for it.
violence, and yeah,
We're buying it
there's a large portion of it that we're
and
literally paying
studying it
for.
and buying more.
Literally.
Yeah.
And you don't have to. You don't have
It's
to have some big major degree or an entire think tank or a whole bunch of whatever to come up with that, because I managed to figure that one out
Yep.
when I was 12. Within my first case plan, I was like, wait a minute, what is this, a contract on how I'm going to behave?
So we were
What?
talking earlier.
What am I going to think?
No, what are the three factors to expose a child to an early childhood to create a sociopath?
You need to have some kind of trauma in the womb, or where the mother has some kind of like a startle or issue type, an attack against her. Um, a trauma prior to sexual traumas and attacks against the child prior to the age of 5 are a significant factor, and another one would be any major trauma prior to the age of puberty. And if you put all three of those together, you have got the trifecta that is going to, yeah, those poor children really should be cared for very carefully. Um, Children that experience sexual abuse, if they're not cared for carefully, have
Well, they
another
also
33, maybe more chance this day and age with the crappy care of becoming an offender, and truly by no fault of their own.
That's also going to increase at a rapid rate because we're living in a society that is, I mean, it can be seen everywhere you look that is hypersexualizing children.
Oh, it's everywhere. Everywhere. It's disgusting. You can't go buy panties for a little girl. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, it's ridiculous. You go into the store to buy.
Don't even remind me of that because
No, I'm
I'm a
going
single
to.
father and I have to go and do that.
We
and
have to
like
stop
as the
things like
daddy,
this.
it's like, oh, I can't put any of this on my 7-year-old.
Who puts food on a child's underwear? They're not ice cream. They're not little pieces of fruit. It's just a plain colored piece of fabric for sanitary purposes. And let's not get ridiculous about this anymore. Honestly, we need to stop buying these things, and they'll stop making them. Yeah, our children's clothes are not food. Our children are not food. Our children are not to be devoured by adults. This is not okay. And we need to hold each other accountable. I don't know how there could ever possibly be a child trafficking ring, because how do two people, let alone a ring of people, ever be able to sit down and say, let's kill and rape and maim children? How does the other person not
And
say,
sell them
let
to
me
other
kill and
people
rape
who
and maim?
want to do
You know what I mean?
that.
How does the other person say, yeah, sure, that'll be fun? What the fuck? No. No.
Unfortunately, there's
This
more
is
than two
not
or three
civilized
rings.
in any
Increasing
fashion.
increasing the punishment for any kind of crime against a child, any kind,
Oh, yeah.
definitely needs to happen.
And then, even on that note, parents that are going into CPS court, do not have the same standard of evidence as the foster parent who molests and rapes their child. The parent has a preponderance of evidence, which is more likely than not, whereas the criminal has the now I'm lost, but you know what I want.
The criminal doesn't have to prove their innocence.
Right?
Their
No,
guilt has to be proven.
yeah, no, I lost my train of thought.
Well,
The
it's
criminal
what you,
standard of evidence
But
is
yeah,
beyond a
you
reasonable doubt. They have to have a beyond a reasonable doubt. You have to prove it. Whereas the other one is it's just a preponderance. Well, maybe it happened. It could have. It was pretty likely that it did. And then you get it's not evidence. It's a social worker coming in and saying, "I feel like I feel threatened when I'm around her. She's hostile to me. I feel like she is
I
difficult to
wonder
deal with."
why.
And her feelings are
well,
evidence.
of course, any
That's
parent that
evidence.
has of course any parent that has CPS and then they're gonna react that way because essentially they're disrupting a family.
I mean, you come to my house and tell me that you're here to potentially take my child, and you just want me to like what? Welcome you in. Would you like a glass of tea?
Yeah, you wanna go have a drink in the back,
No,
go smoke.
excuse me, you can find your car and get the fuck out of my driveway.
Yeah.
I mean, who would be nice about having their children taken?
Nobody. And then it's enough. Enough is enough is enough. So I mean, I don't know what each person's particular reason for deciding to stand up against things are, but whatever it is, just keep going harder and harder and harder. Try to follow the rules so that we're not the ones that are out of control, because that seems to be the big spin nowadays. If you stand up against anything, you're the one out of control. And if we respect them and at least attempt to do what they need, what they say they need from us for their process, like permitting, they can't later on turn around and say, these people are out of control. Yeah, look at them. No wonder we need these laws. No, it's, you know, they're trying to assemble and they're trying to be heard and they're doing it in an organized fashion where they're being respectful to us and they're taking their turn to come in. They're not bombarding our buildings and filling the halls. No, we are coming in trying to make an appointment or coming in as a group of 5 to 6 people respectfully to meet our legislators. Um, and that's how you're heard. You need to not only have a complaint, but a proposal solution. I mean, I have plenty of ideas as far as foster care money and changing that around. I would rather see our tax dollars go to teenagers graduating high school, not pregnant, proficient in reading, you know, um, our technical schools doing well. We need to have, that's what the states need to be incentivized for. When parents go through a divorce, having it be amicable and without traumas and without long drawn out processes. That's what our courts, that's what we should be incentivizing. We need to start demanding that we get positive results for our
I
money across the
I
board
want
at
to see it
every
harder
turn.
to take a kid than it is to get them back, not the other way around. Because right now it's, I mean, they can take a child in the snap of a finger, but it's years of jumping through hoops that don't even work trying to get your child back.
Hoops of fire. No, it's not hoops. It's hoops of fire.
Well, we don't have to go into great detail about how these hoops can kill you,
Yes, we do.
literally.
Well,
No, we do.
I was gonna say, yeah. When
No, we do.
they make you jump through like impossible hoops just to get your fucking kids back, and then there's no guarantee that you're gonna get it back.
Yeah.
And if you do, they may try to come again 6 months later because if the child is taken back after a reunification, then within 6 months, then they can go for the immediate trial and termination. So it makes it a fast, streamlined process, right to the money, right to the bank. So I mean, and furthermore, the kids are usually deemed disabled. So what we're paying for is an endless. We pay the disability payments on the child's first social security number, which goes to the state forever and ever until they turn 18. And then when the adoptive parents get the child, they get a new social security number, and the child's disabled, so they collect disability again. And that's how they're making that little extra more on top. I mean, it's at every turn.
Oh, tell them about when you tried to get life insurance on your kids
No,
too.
my kids already had life insurance. Foster children, the state gets life insurance on them. It's mandatory. It's part of their they're gig when they check them in. They get
Really,
medicated.
life
They get life
insurance
insurance.
on a foster
And
child.
that's a rabbit hole that I can't personally continue to like go all the way after. But I do know that I did get contacted and asked, are you trying to get a second policy on your children? Why do you think you would need that? Isn't the, because I was a young mom, and when I had my first child, I got Gerber life insurance for him. And so when I had my other children, I did the same. And I also got them little savings accounts and tried to buy them little shares of stock and things that I thought might be useful or maybe would just sit there. And so my kids, I kind of tried to do it differently, even though I didn't really know what I was doing. I tried anything really. And when they asked me about a second policy on 3 out of 4 of my policies, I was really confused. And see, the thing too is that my 3 younger children, I'm not the beneficiary on that policy. Their older sibling is. And so it made it really kind of odd that they were like, well, there's different beneficiaries and such. What was that? What spilled?
It was the candle when the fire went out. It fell, and I touched it. It turned.
Oh, just the soot?
Yeah, it's good.
A dryer sheet. Do you have a dryer sheet? It'll pick it up.
Down there when you want to.
Yeah, it helps pull it up with the
Because
grease in
the
it.
carpets get clean in the morning.
Yeah, that'll come right out, I think. So, anyhow, I mean, I don't know how long you guys
I have
go, but
OCD.
I don't
do. That's
even
why
know
I
how long it's been
clean.
going for.
20 minutes
Three,
left.
yeah, there.
oh,
20
Yeah,
minutes left. Oh
well,
wow, we
well, I'm
did make
sure
it the
you
whole
guys have
show.
your wrap up to do, so I'll let you do that. But thank you for letting me rant on about all this stuff, and I hope to see more people next year when we try to pull this off again, and at other times. Keep an eye on the Facebook, our Facebook Op Expo CPS Facebook, and we have the / Capital Million, Capital Parent, Capital March on Facebook, which we'll just edit and continue to use. Um, and let's just keep going.
We also now have
Oh,
millionparentmarch.live.
thank you. Thank
Yeah, I
you.
almost forgot about that
yeah,
one.
Yeah,
I
that
was
was
getting Error 404 on a mobile device, but then when I went on to uh, my regular browser on my PC, it worked fine. That was weird.
I don't know.
Use your fingerprint. It probably works for you too.
Yeah, Million
I
Parent
never.
March, it's working now. Okay, maybe it was just my
Oh,
device.
on your mobile? It's
Yeah.
working on your mobile?
Well, no, it's working on my web browser, but I had a couple problems on my mobile.
Alright, I'm gonna check that right now. Yeah, it goes right up. I don't know, it
Put
might
that in your
have.
pocket so you have some notes and paper.
So
Notes and paper.
all right, and thank you.
We could have used this when you were talking earlier. You were saying all kind of stuff. I could have been taking
I mean,
notes
if
like
you
crazy.
want to, I'm sure that these lovely gentlemen would love to have you on one day, man. Their lovely radio.
Oh, the show?
Yeah, they'll
Yeah.
let you just go and go and go and go, and go whatever you want. Whatever you, I'll override all of them and say, if this woman is willing to talk to you, you just let her talk about whatever she wants. She will teach you so much in a minute.
Yeah, we've been making quite the
This
assortment
is
of
a
friends
this is
throughout
a voice that
DC.
should be captured and played over and over and over again. I'm telling you, like, yeah, it takes a lot to get me to say, wow, somebody really does know an awful lot more, and I want to shut up and listen to them. So, and I do when it comes to her.
Well, I'm also thinking as far as this goes, our next Freed Action, we're probably gonna try to do something on November 5th as well, to kind of like,
We'll
because a
bring back
lot of
our
these
signs.
a lot of these parents, like, they know that a lot of anonymous's work towards this is very crucial to their fight,
If I could
and for
score
a lot
the
of
word, or
them
if I could
it
take over
it's
some
what's
sort of
brought
lease or
them
something with the section eight,
into the
would that
fight,
help,
like
or-
giving them that power to fight also. So I'm really wanting to kind of get the chance to like let the two sides meet. Not everywhere. Probably pretty specific cities and in certain ways.
just to protect the parents, because like, anything we do with them, we're going to do permitted and, fully legal, just to keep them safe, because the last thing you need when you have a CPS case is to be getting arrested for some stupid shit.
I have a son. He's 20.
But there's also a few other op ideas that are being kicked around, so definitely keep your eye out for that. You guys might have an opinion on this, because we've been talking about possibly going after freedom of information request on whatever the NSA has collected concerning any of this. And yeah, I was thinking of calling that one Pandora's Box, because when we do it, that's literally going to be opening Pandora's box. If we can get some kind of major freedom of information request out of the NSA, everybody's going to start doing it and getting all the information, and it's going to come unglued after that. But so if anybody has any ideas on how to go about something of that magnitude, on getting some good information out of the NSA, please let us know on that. And if it works, we will implement that on every fight we're fighting, and maybe we'll fucking get somewhere.
There is an organization that helps on FOIA requests. I don't remember if it was like the Electronic Freedom Foundation
Yeah,
or
see, I've heard of a few, but like
ProPublica.
they're
There's some out there.
really just in it like strictly for the money, and it's really expensive. And if it was cheaper, or if it could be done to the magnitude to get a bulk package of a shitload of data, I'd pay for it. But if it's gonna be something like $10,000 for one email, I can sit there and do that all day. Yeah, but yeah, if we could definitely figure out a way for it to be worth the money, and not some bullshit, I'll pay to change the world. I guarantee you. And if it's something really good and it would cost a lot of money, but it's definitely possible and beneficial, I guarantee we could raise the money to get the information we need to change the fucking world
Why does it cost us money to get information?
that we already own.
Right?
Well, for the
Just
paperwork,
forms.
copies,
You
usual.
just have to know the forms. It's all about the form. If you know the right form and you fill out the right form, you can get pretty much anything accomplished. You just got to do the form. They need it done. It's important. That's all I care about. Do the papers. I did all that permit stuff, everything, and then it was just like, why? It's not an easy process. The process seems to be made to be a little bit more difficult, so that maybe the average everyday person might not be able to get through such a crazy process. I mean, I did it, but I don't know.
I don't know. It seems like any paperwork you go through with the government is
Oh
designed.
no, this was
Yeah, it's
beyond
specifically. Yeah,
that.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's specifically designed to deter you because of all the
This
legal
was
jargon.
something else.
Yeah, we don't have time to get into all of it, but it's like, okay, so we had a banner, so they want to know, how we're hanging the banner up. What's it going to be on? Poles? How tall are the poles? How big is the banner? What are the measurements? What about your sound? Like, basically they wanted to know every piece of anything we were bringing on the grounds, like,
And
and
then nobody checked.
yeah, and then nobody checked any of that. They didn't even ever set eyes on our permit. We had a couple of police officers come by a different day, DC Metro Police, and the best we got was, "Do you have a permit?"
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
all.
like,
That's all
yeah,
they
we
care
even
about.
asked one time, because like it was sitting right there, and it was like, "Do you want to see it?" And he's like, "Ah, no, I'm good."
You paid your tribute, so you're all right. Yeah,
There you go, law enforcement at its
yeah.
finest. There you go. Yeah.
As long as you're bowing, cowering, or
Hey, I'll tell
kneeling,
you,
you're all
DC
right.
Metro Police is on top of it. Anonymous doesn't even have to get their permit for the Million Mass March, and the police are very well prepared to block our route because they already have it memorized.
Hey, didn't some of our guys get like arrested last year? They're causing some
Yep.
shit.
They got pretty
And
rowdy with the Capitol Police
I
up there
do
a while
have to
back.
say, as far as I know, there were no arrests at the march, and there was one woman who seemed intoxicated on Sunday and Monday and made a little bit of a ruckus, and the police seemed to have to deal with her a bit from what I saw on the live feeds and from what I saw on my Upper Senate Park site. And but other than that, I didn't really see any kind of out of control behavior from the parents. And to that, I do want to say to any of them that are listening, thank you so much. That's exactly what we were looking for, was a really good group of people to come out and say, hey, listen, we've been done wrong, and hear us out. And hopefully that happens. So
Well,
thank
we
you
know
all so
there's
much for going to your senators and coming out to DC and supporting us from home and sharing and liking and everything that you all that the parents do every day. It's the parents. Let me tell you what, right now, if it was not for the parents, and this is partly advice and partly an appreciation, if it wasn't for the parents, we wouldn't be able to do our groups with the off exposed CPS and these other groups like Restoring Freedom and those. So choose where you focus your energy, on the cause or on the leader. But you know what? You don't need a leader. You really don't. You can do this on your own too. Anybody can come out there. You can all do this together. You can do it as a small community, a large group. But just be careful and be safe, and do your best to follow whatever they try to tell us to do, so that we're the good guys, because we really are. But thank you all. I hope you all have a safe night.
I do want to comment on one thing. This was probably politically one of the most diverse gatherings I've seen in anywhere in this country in a long time. I mean, there was far left, far well, maybe not far right because there wasn't any Nazis at our freaking rally, but there
Not
was
that we know of.
Republicans, conservatives, and libertarians and all that good shit. Trump supporters were out there, and we're all getting along, having a good time. Nobody's even having political arguments or even worrying about all that stupid shit.
Nope, it was
It
all,
was
how can
literally
we fix
just
it?
focused on
What are the solutions?
the goal, focused on what we're there for, and if we can get that into more movements and get the stupid bullshit aside, we're gonna start to get somewhere, man. Like, it doesn't matter what color someone is, what religion they are, what fucking political party they are, if they do that silly sort of stuff.
I don't get it.
But
I think it's a joke. Is this a joke? I just don't get this political party thing. I mean, they
it,
use a donkey and a monkey. Or wait, what is it? A
uh,
donkey
an
and an elephant
elephant.
or a rhinoceros or
It's a
something?
donkey and an elephant, and the libertarians have a
They're
porcupine.
serious
A
about this.
porcupine.
This is a
I thought you were
serious,
talking
actually
about the
affecting thing. Like a
humanitarian.
team?
You thought what?
The Humanity
I
Party?
thought you were talking about the humanitarian party.
Oh yeah, yeah. They've been in the news again. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, that was
So what
silly.
is their little animal for the
I don't know. They
humanitarian
have
They
party?
have us.
that's it.
Yeah, they were using
The
us.
humanitarian party was met by some fake anons to turn Anonymous into a political party that just flat out fell on its face.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that dude. That
it's
dude's
Yeah.
been popping up
it's one of
because
the
of
big jokes of
see,
Anonymous.
they were
the whole thing. I think the whole thing is a joke. Not just the humanitarian joke, the entire labeling it at all. We just need to
Well, I mean,
go in there and solve the problem. It doesn't matter whether or not you want to ride a donkey or an elephant in the fucking circus. Just solve the problem. I don't care what animal's ass you're on. Get the work done.
I thought Democrats was really the one that
Which one's
showed you
that?
that they're the
The
donkey, and a
oh,
donkey is a what? An ass. Like, why would you choose an ass as your symbol?
that's why I thought the whole
Are you
fucking thing
guys a
was a
bunch of Are
joke.
you guys a bunch of asses
I
or?
don't. I thought it was just a joke on like Comedy Central. That's what I know about politics. I just see
Yeah,
the
we
problem and the
we were
solution.
joking
I don't
around the other
care.
night that we figured out that the courts aren't a circus, that it's a zoo because they just have all the animals. You got rats and snakes and kangaroos and moles and
Trolls and
I mean, just
Well, we
there's
need a party where the
political
symbol is a
polls.
sheep.
the sheep.
The sheep
Yeah,
party.
courtroom's definitely
Uh,
full of sheep.
Bah.
Mm.
man,
Oh wow, he just bad. What does the sheep say?
Uh,
Bah.
this show's probably over anyway. I think we just ended in the middle of some silly stuff.
5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay.
Yes,
Well, we should have Morgan Freeman next week. Maybe we can get out of Baldwin stuff with Donald Trump.
Man, he's working for the CIA, man. Like he just had that fucking fake fucking
Yes,
Russian shit on.
people are killing kids. Russia didn't do it this time.
Well, he's been.
I'm telling you.
I know.
I'm telling you, Vladimir Putin is just such a very, very nice man. He doesn't do any of these things. It's not nice. He's kind. And he likes to ride horses with no shirt. Look at him. Look at his muscles.
I
Anybody
thought it
that
was
looks like
Vader's.
that can't be bad. Come on.
now
I,
you know who is CIA
Doing
though is
a
Anderson Cooper. He interned twice with the CIA.
Oh,
really?
get him. Clean that up.
Yep.
Well, alrighty, guys. I'm gonna holler at y'all later.
Uh,
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you
I
all.
probably won't be here for Saturday. I'll have like just gotten off a plane and just be ready for some real rest.
gotcha.
So I'll see y'all Tuesday, and we'll get some real stuff popping.
Alrighty.
And yeah, you guys are gonna have to catch me up on the news because I've been missing stuff for like 3 weeks. I have no idea what's going on in the world right now.
This.
Oh, you missed Rocket Man, man.
Oh no, I've heard about Rocket Man. I've at least caught that.
Rocket Man, St. Louis, Georgia Tech.
What
Where else?
Why am I seeing this?
what happened in
St.
Georgia Tech?
Louis.
Yeah, St. Louis and Georgia Tech riding.
Oh, yeah,
Not
yeah.
much out of Georgia Tech anymore, though.
Football?
Protest. I'm guessing.
Oh.
I'm guessing it's the same thing in Georgia as St. Louis.
Yeah.
Word.
Shootings and
Well,
altercations.
Police. That police stuff is going to pick up and go.
well, all right. I'll talk to some people and see about getting some people that are actually down there on the show Tuesday,
Yeah.
and we can get a firsthand perspective of what the fuck's really been happening in these cities. So,
All right.
man, I'll holler at you guys when I get home.
All right. Sounds
All
good.
right.
All right,
All right,
later.
man.
We're doing this.
And
Have a good night, all.
yeah, I'm gonna and I guess we'll run out with the credits. I do. I say thank you to all those who listen to us throughout the show. I will have some updates to some of the questions people had about MMMDC. And with that, we won't be able to stream. At least I won't be able to be here on Saturday. So the show will be back on Tuesday at the same time. Let me see what else. Anything else, guys?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Oh, man.
I'm ready.
Kevin's still
And
awake.
for Lowell's.
Hey, Dammy's still there.
Be a mask march. Don't forget.
Yeah,
Keep your events running.
yeah. I believe
If you lose a page, make a page.
MMM
Lose a profile, make a profile.
yeah, MMM Amsterdam uh, is still working on it. I believe Belgium operations
Yeah,
was
I
post.
found out what's going on there. I found it out.
Oh, that was you who was saying it. Okay, I got you. Oh, all right. I thought that was coming from Facebook. I was like, oh, Facebook did do something. We'll find out what happened to the event for
Yeah,
Amsterdam. I'm pretty certain Facebook did it. Bastards.
Facebook did it.
Eh.
You know they did.
You know what? You know what? Like honestly, like if I could go one on one with Mark Zuckerberg, I would have so much like rage, like just built up in me from all the fucking bullshit that I've had to deal with. I would do it, dude. Tyler versus Zuckerberg out in his yard.
Yeah. Oh man, he would hear it so much, man.
We need like a Zuckerberg pinata.
I just love just to
A
give him.
pinata wouldn't
I just
satisfy
love to
me.
give him a bloody nose and hear him
Yeah,
cry
it's
like
a
a little
well, it's a
bitch.
regional thing down here. I guess he's.
I mean, I could beat the candy out of him, but pinata wouldn't be good enough.
Well, I don't know, I don't, like he like because of all the bullshit that with protecting their corporate image and what they've done over the past 8 months, like they've really deterred a lot of the stuff we do on the back end of Facebook. It's like no, all
It's
the
immoral. I mean, they're going to protect the pedophiles more than an activist or
well,
somebody's business.
I mean, in the initial, I mean, the whole fact that that your identity has to line up with who you are, and sometimes even when you're doing stuff the right way, they just jack your accounts without any uh, um,
Oh yeah,
say
let
so.
me steal your photos that you make, sell it.
Exactly, and not only that, they're leaving it up to their internal administration to determine what can and can't be on here. So it's like, well, like yeah, it is yours, but your mission statement on the original mission statement says something else. So it's like, well, what if you become you kind of put on this facade that you can kind of express who you are, but if you don't, but if Facebook doesn't like how you are expressing yourself, then it's a fucking problem because it's damaging their image. So it's like, well, what do
Yeah.
you want?
Did you read the note that I got from them? You can use any name you want to as long as it is pertaining to your ID.
Um,
And then we'll help you come up with a name to help you protect your identity.
oh,
Oh man,
but
yeah,
what if you say you're dyslexic and like that's how you read your name from your license? It's all jumbled.
yeah.
I don't know.
Oh man.
I swing it to them, dude.
You're like it. My, oh.
Yeah. Oh man, really? Yeah. Why can't I pick any name I want? I can change it 5 times. Why does it have to be one that is on
You
my
know what's
ID when I don't
funny is
have 5 names on my ID?
what's funny is that when they bought Instagram, where you can use any name, they didn't change the rules there. But here's the weird thing is that what I do is that you can use a Facebook Messenger account not tied to an account, and you can use any fucking name you want to. I don't understand. It's
Oh
like,
really?
yeah, you can use any fucking name you want to as long as
Yeah.
it's not tied to a Facebook account. You can call yourself fucking Dix Galore or whatever the fuck you want. And it won't. They don't fucking care.
You can get troll happy as long as somebody sends a link to your chat and you can connect to somebody else's message that
Oh,
uses it.
best
It
thing is,
confuses the hell out of them.
yeah. The best thing is you can't even be reported on those things.
You can only be muted.
Yeah,
Can you
and
be
blocked.
blocked?
Yeah, you can be
Uh,
blocked, but
Yeah.
you can't be reported.
well, that's refreshing. I'm tired of that reporting, man. It's like the little hall nanny.
And it's
You
confusing
didn't have
too
your hall
because instead of
pass.
appearing
Oh
blue,
yeah,
you
it does.
appear black.
Yeah, when I do use my comms on the back end, it does confuse people to be like, "Are you blocking me?" No, I don't have an account. What do you mean you don't have an account? I don't have an account. Anywho, um,
Anonymous.
all right. So I guess we'll run out with the out credits, and we'll be back on Tuesday.
Have a good night.
All right.
All right. Good night.
Okay. Bye.
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly.